Chapter 536. Lu Fengru and the others gave some instructions and left quickly. Huang Jing was the only one left. Recently he was more idle. Besides, the people from Star City had not left yet. He still had to entertain them later. Both of them walked out of the hall. Fang Ping asked as he walked, "Vice-Chancellor, can I use a divine weapon?" "Theoretically, yes. I still have a rank 8 saber, a rank 7 saber, and a rank 7 axe. Which one do you think is more suitable for me?" "A rank 7 saber." Huang Jing explained, "A rank 8 consumes a lot too." As he said that, he saw that Fang Ping was about to speak. Huang Jing knew what he meant and shook his head. "Only with strong mentality and vitality can you unleash the full power of a divine weapon. This has nothing to do with recovery speed. Yes, you can constantly recover, but your vitality and mentality are so strong. That's why the strength of a divine weapon unleashed is so strong. A strong recovery only means that you can last longer in battle." "I understand," Fang Ping said and pondered for a moment. "Then, if I destroy the 2 rank 7 divine weapons and combine them with the chaos-ridden saber, do you think I can be like Instructor Tang and create a new divine weapon that suits me?" Previously, when his mentality materialized, he threw the divine weapon into the storage space. At that time, under the watchful eyes of everyone, Fang Ping could not take it out. In order to put on a show, he forgot to take out the divine weapon in advance. However, Fang Ping was not too regretful. It was only a rank 7 divine weapon. It was not too rare. He would get it sooner or later. He was not too interested in rank 7 divine weapons. "You want to use up 2 rank 7 divine weapons and chaos vanquishing saber just to forge a rank 7 divine weapon?" Huang Jing really had the urge to kill someone. "You don't treat money as money, do you, kid? Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning for being so wasteful?" Fang Ping nodded. "Both divine weapons are not too strong. Didn't you say that divine weapons can be artificially upgraded? I'm thinking if I can combine these 2 divine weapons together with chaos vanquishing saber to forge an upper stage rank 7 divine weapon." Huang Jing was a little helpless. This was not worth it. 2 rank 7 divine weapons were worth more than 20 billion. An upper stage rank 7 divine weapon was not worth this price. If they really fused together, it would be a losing deal. However, when he remembered that Fang Ping was rich, he did not say anything more. He said it should be possible. "Old Wu has done it before, but we don't have any experience in this. You're not going to do any dangerous missions now. Let's wait until Old Wu comes out of closed-door cultivation." All right. After that, Huang Jing went to receive the people from Star City. Fang Ping did not want to go for the time being. He had just broken through and had many things to do. As a result, along the way, every student he met looked at Fang Ping eagerly, shouting loudly, "Congratulations to the president's mentality materialization." Fang Ping did not pay much attention to the first classmate he met. The second person still shouted the same thing. Fang Ping was frustrated. The third, the fourth. All right, Fang Ping understood. This group of bastards. Do they think they can get some benefits just by flattering? You're looking down on me too much. Fang Ping muttered to himself. The students he met along the way were all sucking up to him. All right. Fang Ping felt that he should still give them some benefits. Otherwise, it would be awkward if no one supported him next time. How great was this? As soon as he broke through, the whole school cheered in unison. The grandmasters who came to congratulate him were all shocked. They had earned a lot of face. Fang Ping was in a good mood. Without any hesitation, he said loudly, "Tell everyone that every student in the school can go to the energy room to cultivate for 3 hours for free. Count it on me. The president is mighty." A group of people began to support him, all of them beaming with joy. 3 hours was not cheap. It was equivalent to 1 gram of rank 9 energy stone. Fong Ping did not give them energy stones this time because he realized that some people did not use the stones he gave them last time, sold them, or kept them because they were reluctant to use them. This was not in line with Fong Ping's original intention. If that was the case, he would not give them any more. He might as well give them the cultivation time. If they did not use it, then he would not give them. Outside the energy room, when Qin Fengqing saw Fong Ping, he turned around and left. He was already used to Fong Ping's routine. Fong Ping did not care about him. He glanced at Li Hansong and Wang Jinyang and said, "I just broke through today. I'll rest for a day. From tomorrow onwards, I'll help you guys seal the Vitality Gate." Fong Ping's ability was stronger now. It would be faster if he helped them seal the gate. Previously, the few of them spent 10 days and expended a lot of energy before they finished sealing the gate for Fong Ping. Now, with the three of them working together, it might only take 5 or 6 days. Moreover, Fong Ping had thought it through. Previously, when he sealed the gate himself, he needed to change Old Wang's and Taitu's aura. He himself did not change, which was why the consumption was so high. If he helped Old Wang and the others, the consumption would not be so high. He only needed to change one of Old Wang's or Taitu's aura. It would reduce the consumption by 10 times. The consumption of aura would only be 60 million an hour. 10 hours a day, that would only be 600 million. If he recovered himself, even if he consumed one, for billion, 2 billion a day would be enough. 5 or 6 days, that would only be 10 billion. Thinking about it this way, Fong Ping felt that it was bearable. There was no need to ruin his character. As for himself, he was not in a hurry to seal the second gate. Old Wang and Taitu were not strong enough, so their help was limited. Yao Qingjun had not come out of closed-door cultivation, so it was not too late to wait. Wang Jinyang nodded. Li Hansong said somewhat excitedly, "Fong Ping, now I believe that you're the real leader of the ancient martial artists." Fong Ping was speechless. "Big idiot, don't be so stupid. You're so stupid that I'm embarrassed to tell you all this now." There was no sense of accomplishment in fooling an idiot all the time. After settling Old Wang and the others, Fong Ping walked back while looking at his new data. Wealth, 539. 3 billion converted. Vitality, 8,000 calories, 8,999 calories. Mentality, 1,000 hertz, 1,092 hertz. Bone honing, 177 bones, 100%, 29 bones, 90%. Storage space, 100 cubic meters plus. Energy shield, 10,000 wealth/minute plus. Aura simulation, 100,000 wealth/minute plus. I've become much stronger, Fong Ping murmured. This time, there was really some qualitative change. His vitality increased by 1,000 calories directly. The explosive increase in vitality meant that his physique was stronger in all aspects. Fong Ping felt that his physique was not weaker than a rank 7 martial artists. The reason why his vitality did not reach 10,000 cal was probably because the door was not sealed. If the Sanjiao gate was not sealed, there would be loopholes. Even if the Vitality Gate was sealed, his body was still a sieve. This was the main reason why his vitality did not reach 10,000 cal. When he was about to reach the dormitory, someone came to inform Fong Ping that his sister had come looking for him. Outside the dormitory area, Fong Ping saw an excited Fong Yuan. This girl had been running all the way, but she had not recovered yet. When she saw Fong Ping, her face lit up with joy. She said loudly, "Brother, you've really broken through to Grandmaster?" Fong Ping was speechless. Even his own sister knew about it. The point was he was not a Grandmaster, okay? Before he could say anything, Fong Yuan said happily, "Mom and Dad know about it, and so do my classmates." "Brother, you're too awesome." "You said that?" "Yes, I called to tell you the good news." Fong Yuan looked very happy. "My brother had become a Grandmaster. Of course I had to tell you the good news." Fong Ping was speechless. He went forward and pinched her cheeks hard. Needless to say, after becoming a martial artist, one's skin had become more pliable. In the past, when her cheeks were stretched out, it was only a few centimeters. Now it was like noodles. Fang Yuan was dumbfounded. I called to tell you the good news, to congratulate you. Why did you pinch me again? Looking at his sister's confused face, Fang Ping said impatiently, You haven't broken through to rank 7. Who are you listening to? How dare you spread any kind of news? All right, I still have something to do. Go home early. As he said that, Fang Ping glanced at her and frowned slightly. Where did you go today? Huh? I had a vitality outburst. Oh, I was in a hurry just now. I had a vitality outburst to get here. Fang Yuan's little heart was thumping wildly. Her brother was too amazing. She had only vitality outbursts during the assessment. How could he tell? Panicking, Fang Yuan quickly changed the topic. Brother, you haven't broken through to Grandmaster yet? And I've been calling everywhere. Don't talk about that. If you talk nonsense again, I'll beat you up. As he said that, Fang Ping looked at her again and frowned slightly. Also, don't lie to me next time. Your brother's mentality has manifested. Do you think you can hide your little thoughts from me? As Fang Ping said that, Fang Yuan's expression became awkward. Oh no, she had been discovered. However, she heard Fang Ping say again, You sparred with your classmates, right? It's fine, but don't hurt them. Do you understand? Yes. Fang Yuan nodded quickly. I thought you found out. I didn't expect you to be so dumb. Fang Ping did not care about what she thought. He did not know that the martial sciences exam was today. Fang Ping did not care much about these things now. He was busy every day. He did not have the time to care about something as trivial as the martial sciences exam. Moreover, the schedule had changed a little this year. After sending his sister away, Fang Ping met Chen Yunqi again. In fact, Chen Yunqi had been lingering nearby. Looking at the woman's conflicted expression, Fang Ping felt helpless. I'm already so busy. I don't have time to pick up girls. After comforting her for a while, Fang Ping did not say anything else and went back to rest. This time, he had not slept for almost 10 days. He really could not take it anymore. Before he got busy again, he would take a nap. 20th of May. Fang Ping slept all the way until the sky was bright. On this day, the news of Fang Ping's breakthrough had spread all over Sino Nation and the world. Of course, the government had personally refuted the rumors. Fang Ping had not broken through to rank 7. However, it also meant that Fang Ping had manifested his mentality. This was probably the only time in many years that the government had refuted the rumors of a rank 6 martial artist. It could not be helped. It was too sensational. A 20-year-old grandmaster. Even some big shots from overseas had called the Sino Nation government to ask for news. When they found out that he had not become a grandmaster, they heaved a sigh of relief. A 20-year-old grandmaster was too shocking. Even so, Fang Ping's mentality manifesting still made some people extremely depressed. In the living room, Jiang Chao brought this up. He said happily, Fang Ping, when your mentality manifested, those big-nosed people were furious. There's one less spot for no reason. At least if you participate in the youth tournament, you'll definitely get a spot. At this moment, Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong were also there. However, Qin Fengqing was not here. He was a rank 5. According to the rules, he could not participate in the World Youth Tournament. Fang Ping was still a little confused. He said, Let's not talk about this first. Can you first talk about the rules of the youth tournament? And the allocation of spots. Who are our opponents? When will the tournament start? When will we enter the restricted area? If it's too late, I'll enter rank 7 directly. Will that still count as me? As soon as he said this, everyone was stunned. The Grandmaster from Stellar Sky City was stunned. What he said, did it make sense? The youth tournament was aimed at martial artists below 30 years old. Under normal circumstances, it was not that there were no grandmasters below 30 years old, but it was extremely rare. When Li Jun broke through and became a grandmaster, he actually broke the record. He became a grandmaster powerhouse at 25 years old. Fang Ping was now only a middle stage rank 6. Forget it. He did not want to talk about the grandmaster from Stellar Sky City. What rank was Fang Ping? Who cares? He should be rank 6. Thinking of this, Wei Qing said, "At the beginning of June, we'll compete for the spots. In the middle or late July, we'll enter the restricted area. It's only 2 months from now." He wanted to say, "If you can seal 2 Sanjiao gates in 2 months, I'll jump into the Forbidden Sea." After thinking about it, he decided to forget it. If he really did that, then his face would be swollen. After saying that, Wei Qing continued, "If you get a spot and really achieve rank 7 before entering the restricted area, then you can still enter the restricted area, but it'll be slightly different from the others. We'll talk about the specifics when the time comes." After he finished, Jiang Chao was speechless. "Grandpa Wei, you're really talking to him about this? You believe that I can achieve rank 7 in 2 months? Forget it. I won't say any more." Jiang Chao shrugged. Grandpa Wei was also shocked into a daze. No matter how fast Fang Ping's cultivation speed was, it could not be this fast, right? He actually discussed it seriously with the other party. Wei Qing could not be bothered with him. Compared to the others, Wei Qing still paid more attention to Fang Ping. This kid's mentality had manifested, so he could no longer be treated as a junior. Fang Ping had already taken 1 step into the path of Grandmaster. At this time, he should treat Fang Ping as a powerhouse who had achieved mentality-vitality fusion. As for those who had achieved mentality-vitality fusion, they could actually be regarded as quasi-grandmasters. Fang Ping was actually more qualified to become a grandmaster powerhouse than these mentality-vitality fusion powerhouses. Ignoring Jiang Chao, Wei Qing continued, "There are a total of 6 parties participating in the battle for the spots this time." 6 major forces? Fang Ping asked doubtfully, "Which 6? Are they the same as Star Town?" "They're not all the same. Some represent the government, some represent their own forces, and they may not have any reputation in the outside world." Wei Qing continued, "We don't represent Star Town, but Sino Nation. President Fang, you must be clear about this." Fang Ping did not know whether to laugh or cry. "You're from Star Town, and you're telling me this, as if I'm representing Star Town. Please continue." The other 5 parties are South Asia's ancient Buddhist Holy Land, Europe's Pantheon Heaven, Africa's Wana World, North America's Totem City, South America's Andes. Fang Ping could not help but ask immediately, "They're all representatives of the same continent." "You can't say that. Some small countries are directly represented at this time. They don't have the right to speak." As Wei Qing spoke, he thought for a while and added, "Countries are weak, so they can only rely on these powerhouses to protect them. That's why they won't participate in these matters. We say that we're representing Sino Nation and also East Asia. There are many countries in East Asia, but because there's an ancient Buddhist Holy Land in South Asia, we won't mention this matter. Otherwise, we can say that we're representing Asia. Oceania, Antarctica." Before Fang Ping could finish, Wei Qing shook his head and said, "There aren't many people. How can there be powerhouses?" Powerhouses are also born from the base of the population. With a small population, there will naturally be fewer powerhouses. There are many powerhouses in Sino Nation because we have a lot of people. With a lot of people, we can wash away the sand from a large number of martial artists, eventually leaving behind a batch of powerhouses. Because of the large population in Asia, there are also many entrances to the catacombs. More entrances means more resources. That's why in Asia, there are 2 major martial arts countries. However, as for the ancient Buddhist Holy Land, how should I put it? Wei Qing thought for a while before saying, Although it's called the ancient Buddhist Holy Land, it's actually more cruel. The mortality rate of some low-level martial artists and ordinary people there is extremely high. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Everyone has their own training methods. Under normal circumstances, we won't participate in the affairs of the local governments. As long as the government is willing to resist the invasion of the catacombs, then no one will care about how the government governs. This time, it's the 6 of us who are fighting for the quotas. There are a total of 30 quotas to enter the restricted area. The conditions are also simple, as long as you're below 30 years old. There's no rank restriction. Fang Ping asked. Of course not. Wei Qing did not know whether to laugh or cry. He said, fighting for the quotas, those are the strongest powerhouses below 30 years old. Most of them are rank 6. There are almost no rank 7s participating because the probability of a rank 7 appearing below 30 years old is too low. Of course, Commander Lee's batch back then, Commander Lee participated. He was also one of the few rank 7 martial artists who participated in so many years. When I said there are no rank 7s, it doesn't mean there aren't any. We've actually held the quota fight once every 3 years for 39 times. Including this time, that's 40 times. A total of 120 years. In these 120 years, we've held it once every 3 years. 39 times 120 years. There will always be a few monsters, so there are rank 7s, but they're really, really rare. At least from what I know, I think there are 3 or 4, and only one appears every few decades. I don't think there are any this year. Even if there are, you don't have to worry. To ensure that you get the quota, rank 7 martial artists won't challenge you, understand? Fang Ping asked again. Fighting for the quotas is a one-on-one challenge. Yes. Wei Qing nodded and said, it's not split evenly between each party, but whoever is stronger can take it. The only restriction is the number of participants. The quota for Sino Nation is 20 people. The quota for the other places is slightly less than ours, about 10 on average. In other words, a total of about 70 people will participate in the fight for these 30 quotas. The specific rules vary every year. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Anyway, you'll definitely get a quota, I can guarantee this. Wei Qing had absolute faith in Fang Ping. What a joke. If a powerhouse with mentality materialization could not get a quota, Sino Nation might as well not go, lest they embarrass themselves. However, Wei Qing still said, but this time we're not just locking in 1 or 2 quotas. This year, because you guys are participating, we have to get at least 12 or so. The other party's strength is all rank 6, more or less. Almost no rank 5 will appear. After all, 30 years old, the restriction is actually not too big. In all the major forces, there are still many rank 6 martial artists below 30 years old. When will it start? Where will it be held? Sino Nation. Fang Ping's face was blank, and he said somewhat speechlessly, I thought it would be held overseas. Turns out it's here. Wei Qing smiled and said, it's very normal. Polaris. Cough. Sino Nation's martial arts strength is the strongest in the world, and they also have the most desperation powerhouses. It's normal to hold it in Sino Nation, unless Sino Nation themselves are unwilling to hold it. Then it will be held in other places. This time I came to MCMAU to inform you guys so that you can be prepared. On the other hand, before the competition, there will actually be a training session. As he said that, Wei Qing suddenly said, forget it. Actually, when I came here, I was thinking that since you guys have just entered rank 6, you might not be able to represent Sino Nation in getting the quota. Now, at least you can at least lock in 1 quota, and that's enough. As for the training, you guys don't have to participate. Wei Qing did not know these people very well, but after seeing Fang Ping and the other 2, Wei Qing felt that the training was really not necessary. Fang Ping did not mention these 3 brats. Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong sat there quietly, but their aura was so oppressive that even the upper stage rank 6 Zhengnanqi, who was about to step into peak, felt slightly uneasy. What kind of training was this? The people in Polaris lacked experience, but these guys did not lack any at all. Glancing at Zhengnanqi and the others, Wei Qing also made up his mind. Motherf asterisk her. He could not really make a fool of himself. Tomorrow he was prepared to bring these few brats into the catacombs. This time they would be fighting with rank 6 martial artists. Killing 8 or 10 martial artists of the same rank, even if they were not strong, would make them stronger. The young people in Polaris did not lack anything. The only thing they lacked was the experience of bloody battles. After returning from MCMAU last time, Zhengnanqi and the others actually went into the catacombs, but Wei Qing felt that it was not enough. The gap was quite big, so he had to be more ruthless. Fang Ping did not say anything else, but Li Hansong could not help but say, "That Grandmaster Wei, it's just the 3 of us. Can't Yao Qingjun go?" Yao Qingjun, Wei Qing frowned slightly. "Before coming here, we actually went to FMS once, but Yao Qingjun has not come out of closed-door cultivation. And before that, he was still rank 5. If he is not rank 6, then there is no way to let him participate. Of course, if he can achieve rank 6 before the competition and show the corresponding strength, then there is no problem. This time, since we have opened our mouths to martial arts universities, then we will not deliberately restrict anything. This bit of magnanimity is something that Polaris still has." The few of them did not say anything else. The other party had already put it this way. That was already extremely benevolent. Yao Qingjun had not achieved rank 6. Even if he was peak rank 5, that still meant that his combat strength was lacking. After all, this time the people from Polaris were at least middle stage rank 6. Those early stage ones were all eliminated this time. Chapter 537. The 6 representative forces actually meant a lot of things. For example, they all had paragons. Seeing that Wei Qing seemed to be easy to talk to, Fang Ping asked curiously, "Grandmaster Wei, are there many paragons in the other 5 parties?" "Not too many." Wei Qing did not hide this, saying, "The ancient Buddhist sacred land announced that there are 8 ancient Buddhas, but all these years the ancestors only sent 7. When saying this, Wei Qing pondered for a moment, saying, "So the ancestors guessed that one of the ancient Buddhas in the ancient Buddha sacred land might have gone extinct. However, we are not too sure about these things, and no one will talk about this. Heaven of the Gods has 9 gods. One Ta World has 8 Law Kings. Totem City and Andes Mountains are in the Americas, so we don't have much contact with them. We only know that there are about 4 to 5 people at the apex of these 2 forces." Fang Ping heard this and calculated, raising his eyebrows slightly. "That means the world's paragons are less than 50 people?" Wei Qing nodded, sighing softly. "That's why the situation has worsened. If there are really hundreds of paragons, each of them guarding a territory, then these paragons can join forces to seal the restricted area." Having said that, Wei Qing continued, "Now, because there are not enough paragons, a paragon must guard at least 2 territories. There are some things you don't understand. If the paragons guard 2 territories, then they can't form an alliance. They can still make it in time to cross from one territory to another, but to cross another territory, when the war starts, they can only give up a part of the territory. I think you might have heard of some things. When it comes to a critical moment, they will give up a part of the passageway. It's not that we want to give up, but we have no other choice. In the past, there were not many passageways opened, and the ancestors could still suppress it. But now, the war has broken out because the ancestors can't suppress it anymore. He can suppress the territory where he is, but some territories have no one to suppress, and there may be chaos in the end." Fang Ping nodded, expressing his understanding. The world's paragons were about 50 people. The number was not too many, but not too few either. It was better than Fang Ping expected. He thought it would be even fewer. With so many people, that could suppress the catacombs for so many years. Looking at it this way, there would not be too many paragons in the restricted area for dynasties. The monster plants and the two great imperial courts did not dare to fight a bloody battle with the humans. They were afraid that they would be taken advantage of. That meant that they were stronger than the humans, but there was probably a limit. The absolute powerhouses of the Forbidden Land, if the four majestic courts were added together. There might be 100 of them. Quite a lot. Fang Ping shook his head. Now, he really understood why the powerhouses did not tell everyone the truth. Was it despair? How strong were the peerless experts? According to Fang Ping and the others' judgment, once mentality suppression was released, Magic City would be destroyed. There were hundreds of such powerhouses in the catacombs. These 100 experts didn't even need to do anything. Just the pressure they released could instantly destroy a few provinces. However, experts were not existences that could only release pressure. This kind of top-notch powerhouse would only be more destructive, and their mobility would also be extremely strong. Not 100, but 10 or 8 of them would probably be able to destroy the entire China in a day. Terrifying. Thinking of this, Fang Ping suddenly said, Sino Nation has the most paragons, but in the previous 9 ranking, Commander Lu was only ranked 3rd. Wei Qing smiled and said, Do you know who are 1st and 2nd? I do. Before he could finish, Wei Qing laughed and said, I'm talking about their real identities. They are the East and North Guardians. You should have heard about them from Jiang Chao and the others. The first one's real identity is the first god of Heaven of Gods. The second one is the great king of Wampagoda country. Whether it is age, experience, or strength, they should be slightly stronger than Commander Li. It's not surprising that they are ranked above him. Although Commander Li is strong, he has not broken through for too long. Actually, Commander Li in Star City may not be the strongest. You should understand what I mean. Some of the old ancestors are actually not too willing to show their faces. Fang Ping understood. I understand. Keeping a low profile is the most important. After all, the old ancestors have lived for countless years. They have long seen through fame and wealth. Wei Qing smiled and nodded. That's true. Actually, everyone has seen through the realm of the paragons. The reason why they are on the list is also because the situation requires it. Both the Heaven of Gods and the Wampagoda world need to boost morale and inspire people. The two strongest powerhouses on the list can also be considered as boosting their morale. Commander Li is still very famous in countries all over the world. Everyone knows that he is incomparably powerful. He can kill many rank 9s alone. He is stronger than Commander Li. This can inspire a lot of people. That's why when these two stand out and are ranked ahead of Commander Li, no one really wants to fight for this. Fang Ping finally understood everything now. After a simple inquiry about the competition, things were almost over. As for the situation in the restricted area, Fang Ping would only be informed when he obtained the quota. Fang Ping was not surprised about this. The people from Star City gave some simple instructions and left. After they left, Fang Ping sipped his tea and smiled. What do you guys think about using life essence to brew tea? As soon as he said this, there was an instant silence. Huang Jing's eyes were sharp. Then, he stood up and left without saying a word. This bastard. He wanted to beat this guy to death. However, after thinking about it, Huang Jing felt that it was better to leave. Now that he heard Fang Ping's words, he wanted to beat him up. This was not a good thing. It meant that his state of mind was not stable enough. He needed to calm down. Vice-Chancellor, take care. Huang Jing ignored him and disappeared quickly. As soon as he left, Li Hansong could not help but laugh. Fang Ping, Vice-Chancellor Huang is quite easy to talk to. At CCMAU, we don't dare to joke around with the Grandmasters. Fang Ping grinned. Yes, MCMAU's Grandmasters are easy to talk to. Joking around and chatting are all harmless. Ironhead, you can joke around if you have the chance. It's nothing. Li Hansong was about to speak when Wang Jinyang could not help but say, "All right, shut up." Did Li Hansong really think that MCMAU's grandmasters were easy to talk to? Still joking. What kind of joke was that? If Ironhead dared to make fun of the grandmasters, Wang Jinyang could guarantee that he would be beaten up so badly that he would doubt his life. How many of these MCMAU grandmasters were easy to deal with? They were all hot-tempered. After scolding him, Wang Jinyang said, "Let's not talk about the youth competition first. Fang Ping, our life gate is closed. Theoretically, our strength should have increased a little, even to middle stage rank 6. But now, there doesn't seem to be any changes. Do you know why?" Li Hansong nodded hurriedly. "Yes, if we were middle stage rank 6, then we would be stronger than we are now. But the life gate's closure doesn't seem to bring us any benefits, nor is there any energy, feedback." Both of them were asking Fang Ping. Fang Ping was speechless. How would he know what was going on? However, after some thought, in order to maintain his omniscient air of mystery, Fang Ping opened his mouth and said, "Because the life gate is the last gate to be closed. When you have closed the first 2 gates and completely sealed the Sanjiao gate, only then will there be a chance for transformation. Also, maybe we can try to open your life gate and take a look. It didn't work before, but now that my mentality has materialized, it might not be impossible. Let's try it then." Li Hansong was a little impatient. He really wanted to see what was hidden behind the life gate. As for Fang Ping saying that the life gate would only give feedback and transformation when all 3 gates were sealed, he believed it. In fact, Old Wang believed it too. They had this idea from the start, but they were not too sure. Now, they were asking Fang Ping to confirm it, since this guy said that it was probably what he meant. Half an hour later, Fang Ping shook his head, frowning slightly. "That's strange. My mentality has materialized. Logically speaking, I should be able to open the gates. I can do it myself. If I transform into your aura, I should be able to do it too." However, when he tried pushing the life gate just now, although the gate kept trembling, it still could not be opened. Wang Jinyang looked like he was thinking. After a while, he said, "I have a feeling that we must wait until all the Sanjiao gates are sealed. Only then can we open the life gate when all 3 gates are sealed." "Is that so?" Fang Ping pondered. "Then let's wait a little longer. The competition for the slots will start in early June. Then, while there's still some time left in this month, I'll help you seal the Vitality Gate. When the time comes, we'll both be middle stage rank 6 martial artists. Even if the opponent is a peak rank 6, both of you should not be weaker than them. However, if you encounter someone who has mentality-vitality fusion, both of you will be in danger." Wang Jinyang shook his head. "Let's not think about this first. It's okay even if we can't enter the restricted zone. The main thing is still the improvement of our abilities. According to their age, if there was enough time, both of them could still participate in the competition for the slots 3 and 6 years later. Fang Ping could even participate in the competition for the slots 9 years later. However, at that time, whether or not it would be necessary was a problem. No one knew what would happen 9 years later. It was not even clear what would happen 3 years later. Fang Ping could not be bothered with this. He would think about it when the time came. In the following time, Fang Ping helped both of them seal the Vitality Gate while he started to study mentality combat techniques. Combat techniques were all different routes to the same goal. Whether it was combat techniques below high-ranked or combat techniques above high-ranked, they all pursued a kind of control over power. Ordinary combat techniques had ultimate moves. The so-called ultimate move was when the control over power had reached a certain level. Through moves, this kind of control was displayed. That was the ultimate move. Old Zhang's combat techniques are so shameful when I cultivate them. In the energy room, Fang Ping took advantage of the break time to read Immortal Vanquishing Saber while sighing. Every time he saw the name of Zhang Dingnan's combat techniques, he felt very ashamed. As for Lu Fengru's combat techniques, He had cultivated her blood arrow method before. This was considered normal. However, things like Invincible Fist were also very shameful to Fang Ping. Wang Jinyang recovered quickly while saying, "The name of the combat technique doesn't matter. If you're happy, you can name it whatever you want. The key is still the degree of control over power." Powerhouses create their own combat techniques because martial artists are different. Learning other people's combat techniques might not allow one to unleash one's full strength. Fang Ping laughed. 100%? Can anyone do it? At least, among the people I know, only Instructor Lee did it once when he was rank 6. But that was after 10 years of accumulation. He traded a life for a life without thinking about the consequences. If he can unleash half of his power, he's already strong. Governor General Zhang's immortal vanquishing saber was created by him. It's the combat technique that suits him best. However, according to Governor General Zhang, he can only unleash 60% of his power at his peak. Even so, he used it to kill a rank 7 martial artist. That's why I don't have much hope. If I can unleash half of my power, I think I'm not weak. Wang Jinyang frowned slightly. You're thinking about the martial artists in the outer areas of the catacombs. These martial artists don't have high enough control over their own power. However, the genius martial artists in the catacombs are all in the restricted area. Since they're called geniuses, geniuses are able to do things that others can't. They learn faster and master faster. In the outer areas, there are very few who can control half of their power. However, in the restricted area, there might be some freaks who can control 80% or even higher. Fang Ping, don't underestimate others. The catacombs can suppress humans and even attack the human world. They have more powerhouses than us. Naturally, they have their own unique points. Now that we're all rank 6, some of the rank 6 genius martial artists in the restricted area are stuck at their peak and can't enter the higher ranks quickly. Then, they have enough time and capital to complete a high level of control over their own power. Fang Ping nodded slightly and said, "That's true. We're still too young, after all. We might not be able to compare to those fellows." As he said that, Fang Ping grinned. "But it's okay. Rank 6 martial artists are nothing to worry about. Rank 6 powerhouses have 10,000 cal vitality. Even if these powerhouses have extremely high control over their power and have cultivated their combat techniques to perfection, even if they have 80% outburst, 8,000 calories vitality outburst. As for the power of mentality outburst, 1 hertz is equivalent to 10 calories vitality. As long as I can outburst 800 hertz mentality's lethality, it'll be enough to kill the other party. Because my mentality has materialized and belongs to the quality of a rank 7. Under the same outburst, I can definitely kill the other party." Wang Jinyang frowned. "When martial artists fight, they don't just look at these things. You should understand these things." "Understood." Fang Ping smiled. "When I was rank 3, Instructor Lee said this more than once. When martial artists fight, many things are looked at. At the same level, with the same outburst and the same combat techniques, one person might be able to kill another in seconds. It depends on experience, combat talent, judgment of the situation, courage, boldness, and timing. I know all of these. Old Wang, don't think that I only know how to fight head-on. What you see is only the surface." Fang Ping sighed. "The catacombs opponents I met in the Outland were either much weaker than me or much stronger than me. If they were weak, I killed them in seconds. If they were strong, I couldn't beat them. This has nothing to do with anything else. Moreover, in the Outland, I have to seize every minute and second, so I don't have time to seize the opportunity. Don't I know that if I seize the other party's weakness and wait for the right time, I might be able to kill the other party in 1 hit? I know, but who gives me the time to seize the opportunity and wait? So, don't think that I'm reckless. I have no other choice. Since I can kill the opponent quickly, then I'm too lazy to wait for the right time. Wang Jinyang still shook his head. I'm afraid that if you continue like this, you'll lose some of your combat instincts. Martial artists improve through battles. Combat techniques are also honed through battles. You have a gun with unlimited bullets in your hand, while the opponent only has a dagger. Both of you have the same strength. Now, all you're doing is firing bullets continuously, but you've never considered using the simplest method to kill the enemy. You've even forgotten your own combat instincts. Once the opponent has patience and waits for the right time, he might be able to kill you in one hit. Fang Ping, I think you should put more effort in this area. You have a clear understanding, but you're used to crushing the enemy head-on to kill the enemy. This isn't a good thing. In my opinion, you have many tricks up your sleeve. You don't have to crush the opponent the whole time to kill the enemy. As long as you're the one who lives in the end, and the one who dies is the opponent, that's enough. Martial artists below peak rank 7 have not honed their skulls. This is everyone's Achilles heel. Even if you cut off his arms or legs, he won't die. Even if you crush his internal organs, he might not die. But if you crush his skull, he'll definitely die. In the battle in Moon Laurel City, that powerhouse who achieved mentality-vitality fusion was exhausted to death by you in the end. You've also recovered your vitality and mentality many times. Originally, the battle didn't need to be so difficult. I didn't say that if you hadn't attacked first and waited for the right time, there was still hope that you could kill him in one hit. And your combat instinct is to charge forward directly. No matter how strong he is, he won't be able to recover quickly anyway. You'll be able to drag him to death sooner or later. Isn't that what you're thinking? But if you restrained your aura that day and hid in the dark, Ironhead and I would hold him back and create an opportunity for you. You could have killed him in one hit, right? Although the result is the same, the process is different, and some things are different. Fang Ping, it feels good to crush the opponent head-on, but I think that using the least cost to kill the enemy is what we need to do now. Fang Ping rubbed his chin, understanding. I understand now. You think that I'm more suitable as an assassin? Wang Jinyang smiled bitterly. You can think of it that way. Every martial artist is actually an assassin. They all pursue a one-hit kill, and they all pursue using the least cost to kill the enemy. When we fight with the Catacombs martial artists, it's not a martial arts duel. The ones we met earlier were all civilian martial artists. You can wear them to death. But the geniuses of the restricted area, do they have life essence? Or, in other words, can they recover quickly? If they can do it too, then your advantage will be wiped out. When that time comes, your combat instinct won't be as good as the opponent's. Maybe you won't last until the end, and you'll be killed by the opponent. That's true. As Fang Ping said that, he continued, Actually, I have the same idea. I should major in 2 combat techniques, stepping techniques, and one-hit killing techniques. There's no need to learn any complicated routines. I'm fast and I can fight and run. I can kill the opponent in one hit. If the opponent is careless, they'll die without any chance to turn the tables. If others can't kill the enemy in one hit, they might be powerless and can only wait for death. But I'm different. As he said that, Fang Ping's eyes flickered slightly. It's fine if I don't learn old Zhang's combat techniques. I should learn the blood saber technique. Also, I should ask if there's any way to increase my speed again, or if there's any speed-type mentality combat techniques. After mastering these 2, there's no need for me to learn anything else. When I meet an opponent, I'll kill them in one hit. If they don't die, then I'll continue. If they're too strong, then I'll run. Sigh, I'm a martial arts prodigy, and now I'm thinking of changing professions to become an assassin. Forget it. For the sake of humanity, I don't care anymore. Wang Jinyang was speechless. However, Fang Ping's thoughts coincided with his. He also felt that Fang Ping should be this kind of assassin. An assassin with unlimited one-hit killing opportunities. This kind of person could kill more enemies in battle. As for whether the battle process was cool, gorgeous, or not, as long as he killed the opponent, he could say whatever he wanted. Fang Ping had thought it through. This time, he did not plan to learn the immortal vanquishing saber, but he could still take a look and understand more about the characteristics of mentality combat techniques. Every combat technique had something worth learning. Other than combat techniques, Fang Ping was still studying his own materialization. Other than smashing it like a ball, was there a better way to kill the enemy? Other people's materialization had some unique means. For example, Lu Fengru's phoenix burning the tree was not just a collision of light. That phoenix could erupt mentality fire, burning the opponent's mentality directly. It was very powerful. How am I supposed to use this thing of mine? Fang Ping looked at the basin-sized city model in front of him, slightly distracted. Maybe I can envelop the opponent and self-destruct directly? Fang Ping thought about it and shuddered a little. He was so evil. Why would he have such an idea? Can I envelop the opponent? I should be able to. I can envelop the opponent directly and self-destruct with a bang. The opponent will probably be dumbfounded. Chapter 538. When Fang Ping was studying the materialized object, he also discovered something very interesting. Why can't Dad, Mom, and Gun Gun show their real faces? In the energy room, Fang Ping zoomed in on Sun City, mainly showing his home. There were 3 shadows in the house. Previously, there seemed to be a voice coming from it, but now it was gone, as if it was a dead thing. The 3 figures seemed somewhat illusory, not very lifelike. Compared to the houses, they were not very realistic. Lao Wang, do you know the reason? At this time, no matter how much mentality Fang Ping consumed to fill it up, he could not make the 3 apparitions materialize completely. On the other hand, he could do it for the other houses. As he consumed his spiritual energy to replenish and fill in the gaps, the floors that were originally just shells were being perfected by him, as if they were real. Wang Jinyang thought about it and said, I don't think there's a way to materialize a human. Li Hansong added, that's true. I've never heard of anyone being able to instantiate a human. It's not just humans. Even the catacombs humans can't do it. When they said that, Fang Ping suddenly understood. No wonder. It was no wonder that Lu Fengru had come up with a phoenix burning tree instead of directly burning the Skygate city governor. Fang Ping had always been a little puzzled. Why did they have to make it so complicated? They even had to make a substitute. From the looks of it, the divine gate tree had only appeared because Lu Fengru could not materialize a real person. You're right, Fang Ping chuckled suddenly. If I really materialize humans, it'll be fine if they're high-ranked powerhouses, but those middle-ranked and low-ranked ones won't be able to distinguish reality from illusion. If I materialize their relatives, won't these people fall for it completely? Thinking of this, Fang Ping's interest was suddenly piqued. He grinned and said, Old Wang, tell me, if I really materialize Sun City into reality, then destroy the real Sun City and throw my materialized object at its original location, the Sun City will be destroyed. Will the people of Yang City be bewitched and live in an illusory Yang City from then on? Wang Jinyang was speechless as he said, Firstly, materializing objects requires mental strength to appear. A Yang City that was the size of reality. Do you know how much mental energy it would take to maintain such a huge materialized object? No matter how fast and strong your spiritual power is, how long do you think you can maintain it? Half an hour? An hour? Secondly, what was fake was fake. Buildings could be real, but what about eating, drinking, and defecating? Don't tell me you're going to send in supplies. All right, let's not talk about this. If you want to materialize a city as if it exists in reality, Fang Ping, have you thought about how long it will take? Do you know how many years the Vice-Chancellor spent to materialize an MAU? Even so, he was unable to complete it. The Vice-Chancellor had spent more than 20 years on a small NMAU, but he still could not fully materialize it. The Chancellor's NMAU was only an empty shell. One could imagine how difficult it would be to fill it in. Many experts materialized a mountain. A mountain was actually simpler than a building. It wasn't that complicated. However, even if it was a mountain, if the experts wanted to make the mountain seem real, they still couldn't do it. It was just too difficult. If they had the time and energy, they wouldn't spend too much time on materializing objects. Instead, they would train their mental strength and improve their mental strength. Fong Ping nodded but still smiled. If they can't do it, that doesn't mean I can't. You don't say. I've noticed that after martial artists reach rank 8, they don't seem to care too much about materialized objects. When they reached the 8th rank, they cared more about the golden body. However, once the materialized object reached 8th grade, would its combat power really not be strong enough? That's not it. How could a mentality amalgamation be weak? It's just that everyone can't spend too much time on it, and they don't have enough mentality to do these things. I still want to give it a try. I'm ready to materialize Sun City. Fong Ping's eyes lit up. If I materialize a city, the materialized object will be like a substance. How heavy is a city? When I do it one day, won't I be able to destroy a royal city with one hit? Moreover, as long as the materialization is successful, even if it's destroyed, I can quickly complete a second materialization through recovery and repair. This means that as long as I have enough mentality, I can bring a city to destroy cities every day in the future for fun. Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong were a little tired. Li Hansong could not help but say, Fong Ping, you're materializing a peaceful world. Nonsense. If we don't destroy the catacombs, how can there be peace? Peace is for humans. When it comes to the catacombs, we need to use the weapon of peace to get rid of them. Ironhead, does that make sense? Yes. That's right. Where does peace come from? I materialized a peaceful Sun City because I want to destroy the catacombs through the power of Sun City. This way, it fits the definition of peace. Seems like it. Li Hansong nodded. That made sense. If humans were at peace, it would mean that the catacombs would suffer. If that was the case, Fong Ping's materialization object was not just for show. Instead, it represented a weapon to achieve peace. Li Hansong was deep in thought. Wang Jinyang did not say anything else. Fong Ping could do whatever he wanted. Even if Sun City was not big, it was not that easy to achieve. Fong Ping could materialize a small district. According to Wang Jinyang's judgment, his mentality must be at least 10,000 hertz and above. That was something that only a peak rank 8 powerhouse could have. How strong a mentality was needed to materialize a city? Wang Jinyang dared not think about it. Would 100,000 hertz be enough? Probably not. Fong Ping's mentality of 1,000 hertz was enough to maintain his small house. Sun City was 10,000 times bigger than his house, 100,000 times bigger. How strong was a rank 9 powerhouse's mentality? What about a rank 9 paragon? Perhaps even a rank 9 paragon would not be able to materialize a small Sun City. This was highly possible. Therefore, there were not many people who took the path of materialization object expansion when they reached rank 8. Everyone was more concerned about the strength of mentality itself. They would not insist on making the materialization object more detailed and strenuous. Of course, the more complicated the materialization object, the stronger its strength and toughness. Everyone knew this. If Fong Ping were to materialize a small district, he would be much stronger than others with the same mentality strength of 10,000 hertz. Other than researching the problem of materialization, Fong Ping was also researching the other functions of the materialization object. In his free time, Fong Ping experimented on Old Wang and Wang Jinyang and gained some results. There were many uses for mentality. The suppress word that Yang Daohong took out in the realm last time was actually a use of mentality. Of course, that referred to the one that Yang Daohong brought out. He himself used vitality force later. There were some differences between the two. Sometimes mentality was not only used to kill people. For example, it could be used as a barrier to seal some things or to suppress some things. Most of the time, simply relying on mentality to kill people might not be able to kill the opponent. However, if it was used as a support function, the effect might be better. It could help you gain an advantage in battle. While Fong Ping was researching the materialization object, he was also filling it up. His depleted mentality could recover quickly. This way, he could fill up the current Sun City from time to time. As for the blood saber technique, this was a mentality combat technique that was made public. Of course, this referred to being made public to high ranks. However, for Fong Ping, it was not difficult to obtain it because MCMAU had it. Fong Ping's own mission was to research the blood saber technique and fill up the materialization object. As for Old Wang and Ironhead, their mission was to seal the Sanjiao Gate. Under the situation where Fong Ping had become stronger, the speed of sealing the gate had increased greatly. In just a short 5 days, Li Hansong was only one step away from sealing the gate. May 25th. When the gate was only a little bit away from being sealed, Li Hansong suddenly called for a halt. When Fong Ping looked puzzled, Li Hansong grinned and said, "I want to try going to the sky too. Last time, you materialized your mentality directly. I don't want to materialize it. It's fine as long as I can release my mentality. Fong Ping, is there really a benefit to breaking through in the sky?" Fong Ping was speechless. Were you really stupid or just pretending? Martial artists were no fools. Li Hansong was not stupid. He just felt that having hope was better than having no hope at all. Martial artists were all like that. In order to improve their strength, they were unwilling to give up any opportunity. In order to improve his strength, Qin Fengqing was willing to shave his head and eat dirt without hesitation. Although Li Hansong would not go as far as shaving his head for a few cal of vitality consumption, it was just breaking through in the sky. Who knew if luck would come? Fong Ping was helpless, but he still said, "It's up to you, but wait until night. Your life gate is sealed. It won't be good if someone sees it." Not many people knew about this, or rather, only 4 people knew about it at the moment. The 2 paragons might be able to see something, but the others were not so capable. Li Hansong and Wang Jinyang had never revealed their Sanjiao Gate in front of outsiders. A sealed life gate might cause some trouble. Rank: 6 martial artists did not have to release their Sanjiao Gate intentionally during a battle, unless the battle was desperate and they released their Sanjiao Gate. Activating the Sanjiao Gate would increase their combat strength. As for other times, it did not matter. However, breaking through was a must. After hearing what Fong Ping said, Li Hansong nodded hurriedly. It was true that they could not be seen by others. However, when the spirit gate was sealed again, it would be fine. Li Hansong was about to break through. Fong Ping also calculated his own consumption. The consumption was not high. Compared to his own consumption of 80 billion, Li Hansong's consumption was really not much. It was only 5 days, more than 50 hours. The aura simulation only needed to imitate Old Wang alone. Fong Ping imitated it casually. The consumption was not high anyway. The aura simulation only cost less than 4 billion. Fong Ping's consumption was not as high as before. In total, he spent more than 5 billion. This made Fong Ping breathe a sigh of relief. In this case, 10 billion for both of them was enough. On the night of the 25th, Li Hansong really went to break through in the sky. As for the result, it went without saying. Not everyone was like Fong Ping. Li Hansong's breakthrough, other than the sealing of his vitality gate, the energy feedback made his body stronger and his vitality higher. The change in his mentality was not too obvious. However, Fong Ping borrowed Lu Fengru's mentality detector and helped Ironhead do a check. Before breaking through, this guy's mentality was not low. More than 450 hertz. After sealing one of his gates, it was more than 470 hertz. Based on this, when the spirit gate was sealed and his main focus was to increase his mentality, he might reach the stage of external projection. Old Wang was almost the same. although their mentality was not as good as Yao Qingjuan's. It was stronger than the average person. After the Sanjiao Gate was sealed, mentality could be released. This also meant that they could quickly enter the mentality-vitality fusion stage. Next, when his mental strength materialized, he would be able to step into the Grandmaster realm. Li Hansong did not achieve external projection, but he was not disappointed. He sealed 2 gates. Theoretically, he was upper stage rank 6. However, the life gate did not have energy feedback. He could only be considered middle stage rank 6. Li Hansong was stronger. Fang Ping was stronger too. This time, Wang Jinyang's cultivation speed was even faster. Fang Ping also realized the benefits of cultivating together like this. If everyone became stronger, it would be easier to continue and the consumption would be lower. On the night of May 29th, Wang Jinyang completed his breakthrough. At this moment, it was exactly a month since they came out of the Tian'an catacombs. Li Hansong and Wang Jinyang's rank 6 cultivation speed was faster than Fang Ping's. Fang Ping did not mind. These 2 guys cultivated so fast because of his help. No matter how fast they were, he broke through before them, and he was stronger. When Wang Jinyang broke through, Fang Ping took a look at his own data. The consumption of wealth was less than he expected. This made Fang Ping even more satisfied. Wealth, 529. 5 billion, convert, vitality, 8,800 calories, 8,999 calories, mentality, 735 hertz, 1,099 hertz, bones honed, 177 bones, 100%, 29 bones, 90%, storage space, 100 cubic meters plus, energy shield, 10,000 wealth/minute plus, aura simulation, 100,000 wealth/minute plus. May 30th, Martial Arts Society. In Fang Ping's office, Chun Yunqi tidied up the office and glanced outside. She sighed softly. Fang Ping had not come out for a long time. Since returning from the Tian'an catacombs, Fang Ping did not show up much. Before this, Chun Yunqi was worried that there would be women seducing Fang Ping. Now that there were no women seducing him, Chun Yunqi was even more worried. 3 grown men, holed up in the energy room, in a cultivation room for 20 days. If she did not know that they were cultivating, Chun Yunqi would have some strange thoughts. Fang Ping did not seem to be very interested in women. She had been chasing after Fang Ping for a long time. In the end, although Fang Ping treated her better than other girls, he was still distant. There was no intimacy between couples. Fang Ping and those 2 men, however, stayed together in a small cultivation room for 20 days. Bastard! The mild-tempered Chun Yunqi suddenly cursed under her breath as she tidied up. She was not cursing Fang Ping, but Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong. These 2 men were so annoying. If they wanted to cultivate, they could just go home and cultivate, but they had to drag Fang Ping along. As she was cursing, someone hurried in from outside the door. When he saw Chun Yunqi, he smiled and said, "Sister Yunqi, you there? Not cultivating?" Chun Yunqi turned around and glanced, saying listlessly, "President Qin." Qin Fengqin grinned and said, "Not feeling well? It's okay. I'll tell you some news, and you'll feel better. I'm upper stage rank 5. Chun Yunqi looked at him, speechless. After a while, she said, "President Qin, Fang Ping is not here." "I know he's not here," Qin Fengqin said proudly. "I know he's not here. That's why I came." Having said that, Qin Fengqin said loudly, "I broke through to upper stage rank 5. If Fang Ping was here, he would not have come. These few days, he was almost suffocated to death. Since cultivating until now, he had not stopped once, but Fang Ping and the others were pulling further and further away. He had not advanced a small stage in rank 5, but Fang Ping had already advanced to rank 6. Today, he had finally broken through to upper stage rank 5. Knowing that Fang Ping and the others were still in the cultivation room, Qin Fengqing specially came to the Martial Arts Society to show off. In the whole of MCMAU, other than that monster Fong Ping, was there anyone stronger than him? Of course, instructors did not count. Other than him, among the students, Zhang Yu and Chen Wenlong were both early stage rank 5. Xie Lei had also broken through to early stage rank 5. That guy had also exploded recently. Even though they had reached the 5th rank, they were still 2 ranks below him. Qin Fengqing's cultivation speed was so fast. Even if he suffered a setback in front of Fong Ping and the others, he could at least put on an act in front of others, right? It had to be said that Qin Fengqing's shout had indeed shaken the martial arts club. Qin Fengqing had actually reached upper stage rank 5. Recently, Fong Ping had been in the limelight too much, and Qin Fengqing had been cultivating all this while. Everyone had not paid much attention to him until now. Not only did they not care, some people even thought that Qin Fengqing was a rank 4. The martial arts club became lively in an instant, and Qin Fengqing was also very proud. Just as he was feeling pleased with himself, Qin Fengqing's face froze. When I come out of seclusion, all of you come out as well. He had already sensed Fong Ping and the others' auras. Very soon, before Fong Ping could say anything, Li Hansong was already beaming with joy. Old Qin, I'm already a middle stage rank 6. Oh, right, Old Wang is also a middle stage rank 6. Old Qin, you've also achieved upper stage rank 5. Not bad. Qin Fengqing's face froze. You're laughing at me, aren't you? He's definitely laughing at me. How long has it been since you broke through rank 6? And now you're already a middle stage rank 6. Do you even want me to live? Thinking of this, Qin Fengqing could not help but glance at Fong Ping again. These 3 fellows had achieved middle stage rank 6 so quickly. There must be a secret. Among the 3 middle ranks, the cultivation speed of rank 6 was the slowest. It was not just because of the high rank. The key was that the Sanjiao gate was sealed and external objects could not be used. It was unlike rank 4 and 5, where all kinds of resources could be used to assist. Advancing in a month, there must be something fishy. Qin Fengqing's eyes flickered, sweeping a glance at them. When Fong Ping asked these 2 fellows to come to MCMAU to cultivate, he already felt that something was wrong. Sure enough, Fong Ping must be the mastermind behind the scenes who helped them advance so quickly. I can't catch up to them even if I cultivate like this. These fellows advanced so easily. Thinking of this, Qin Fengqing suddenly thought of something else. These fellows only cultivated together when they reached rank 6. Did it mean that before rank 6, Fong Ping's methods were useless? Once they reached rank 6, he could help people advance quickly? It had to be said that Qin Fengqing's judgment was very good. With this judgment, Qin Fengqing had a plan in his heart. Looks like I have to reach rank 6 first, then think of a way to let Fong Ping help me advance. At most, I will cry again. What's there to be afraid of? Qin Fengqing pondered about these, preparing to go down to the catacombs again. Now he was still far from rank 6. He had not reached peak yet, and the Sanjiao gate had not materialized. It was still too early. However, he would not stop until he had exhausted all his resources. Now he was out of money again. At this point, he could only go down to the catacombs a few more times and quickly achieve rank 6. With this plan in mind, Qin Fengqing did not say anything else. Without saying goodbye, he left quickly. Watching him leave in a hurry, Fong Ping felt a little helpless. This fellow's cultivation speed was very fast, okay? He wondered if he was going to continue going to the catacombs. He understood Qin Fengqing quite well. He had broken through his realm and exhausted all his resources. It would be strange if he did not go down to the catacombs now. Before he had time to think about Qin Fengqing, Chen Yunqi saw that he had come out of closed-door cultivation and asked him about it happily. After chatting for a while, Chen Yunqi said, "There's news from the Ministry of Education. They want you all to gather in Capital City as soon as possible. The youth competition will be held in Capital City. Did they say when exactly? They didn't say. They want you all to gather first. We'll make arrangements when the time comes. Got it. Chun Yunchi reported the news. She did not say that she would go with them. Fang Ping was still a little surprised. He thought that Chun Yunchi was going to go too. He did not expect that she did not even mention it. However, Chun Yunchi did not mention it, and Fang Ping did not mention it either. Now that everyone's time was tight, it was better to focus on cultivation. Capital City, Fang Ping murmured. He had seen a few foreign martial artists before. He had seen rank 8 helping him recover his flesh. However, he really did not know the specific combat techniques of these people. Chapter 539. 1st of June. Outside Capital City Airport. Bastard! A petite and exquisite girl suddenly scolded. Seeing that someone was looking at her, the petite girl said fiercely, "What are you looking at? I'll kill you with my axe if you keep looking." President Ling. Han Su looked helpless. He smiled apologetically at the passers-by and said, "Don't vent your anger on others. Martial artists don't practice martial arts to bully their own." Ling Yi had an impatient look on her face as she said, "Stop lecturing me. I didn't kill him." Ling Yi was furious again. She said angrily, "What the hell is Li Hansong doing? He wants to be an instructor at MCMAU. This bastard, I really want to kill him with my axe." Li Hansong was going to be an instructor at MCMAU. In June, the seniors of martial arts universities graduated. The president of the Martial Arts Society, Li Hansong, had stepped down as president in May. His successor was Han Su, an upper stage rank 4 martial artist who was still a sophomore. Ling Yi, a junior who was also an upper stage rank 4, was the vice president. A year ago, an upper stage rank 4 martial arts society president was extremely powerful. Before Fang Ping and the others, rank 4 was rare among the martial arts society presidents. In 2009, however, the golden generation of martial arts society presidents appeared. MCMAU Fang Ping. Middle stage rank 6 mentality materialized. CCMAU Li Hansong. Early stage rank 6. NMAU Wang Jinyang. Early stage rank 6. FMS Yao Qingjun. Peak rank 5. NMS Xiao Yuming. Early stage rank 5. SNMAU Lu Shiji. Early stage rank 5. SCMAU Chin Haoren. Early stage rank 5. Rank 6S and rank 5s came one after another. Rank 4 had almost become the standard for every school. Even some normal martial arts universities and non-professional martial arts universities had forcefully spent resources to push their elites to rank 4. It was embarrassing to be the president of the Martial Arts Society when one was not rank 4. However, after this short period of glory, everyone except Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang had graduated. Ling Yi did not see anything wrong with Han Su taking over as the president of the Martial Arts Society of each school. CCMAU was still as strong as ever. As for Li Hansong, Ling Yi had initially thought that he would definitely stay in CCMAU. However, the key point was that she did not expect that Li Hansong, whom CCMAU regarded as a glory, would actually go to MCMAU. In the past few days, there had been news. Li Hansong submitted his resume to MCMAU. MCMAU's University Council had already reviewed and approved it. Li Hansong was about to enter the School of Weaponry as the instructor for the next batch of new students. A rank 6 powerhouse, and such a young prodigy at that, had gone to MCMAU after graduating from CCMAU. Not only was he a rank 6, but he was also the former president of the Martial Arts Society, a representative of the students. For the past few days, some of the CCMAU students had been scolding Li Hansong to death. Even if Li Hansong went to another school, they would accept it. Of all people, he had to go to MCMAU. This was a school that had stolen their position as the #1 famous school. Traitor! Traitor! All of these titles were attached to Li Hansong's head. How much he worshipped her in the past was how much he hated her today. Although Ling Yi did not hate him, she was extremely furious with Li Hansong. Why did this guy want to go to MCMAU? Today, Li Hansong returned. On one hand, it was to participate in the youth competition. On the other hand, it was to return to CCMAU to complete the final graduation procedures and leave the school completely. Ling Yi, who had received the news, did not wait for Li Hansong to return to school. She waited at the airport. She wanted to ask, did this bastard's conscience get eaten by a dog? Did CCMAU treat him badly? Just as Ling Yi was still fuming with anger, someone suddenly said with a smile beside her ear, "Lil Chesling, you're too kind. You even came to pick us up. I'm flattered." Fong Ping. Ling Yi was furious. One of the two people she hated the most in her life. The first was Fong Ping, and the second was Li Hansong. Now both of them were here. Ling Yi ignored him. She glanced at Li Hansong, who was beside Fong Ping, and said angrily, "Li Hansong, you still have the face to come back?" Li Hansong looked embarrassed. Fong Ping, on the other hand, continued with a smile, "Little girl, you!" Ling Yi was about to explode. "I'm 1 year older than you, and I'm also 1 year older than you. Who are you calling?" Fong Ping did not mind. He coughed softly and said with a slightly serious expression, "You're already a rank for martial artist. You don't have any self-control at all. Look at Han Su. He's much more mature than you. They say that women with big boobs are brainless. You. Forget it. I'm too lazy to talk to you. You're brainless even if you're not big. Why did Li Hansong enter MCMAU? Don't you understand? How did you become a rank 4 martial artist? No wonder we were at the same rank when we were competing for the first place among rank 3 martial artists. Now, I'm about to enter Grandmaster, and you're still lingering at rank 4. With your brain, that's all you can do." Ling Yi was about to go mad with anger. Fong Ping, on the other hand, kept a straight face and scolded, "What's wrong? I, Fong Ping, am a general of the military department. I'm teaching you a few lessons, and you still want to rebel?" With this accusation pinned on her, Ling Yi's face was frighteningly red. She was so angry. Han Su was a little helpless. He said, "Fong Ping, don't provoke her. Senior Li's trip to MCMAU this time is indeed provoking some objections. Provoking objections means that you're not doing a good job as president." Fong Ping laughed. "Get in the car. I still have to teach you a lesson today. Making the previous president of the Martial Arts Society the target of everyone's hatred is not a way to prove your ability. Turning CCMAU's glory into a disgrace is also a disgrace to you." Han Su smiled bitterly. "Fong Ping, I really didn't mean that. I believe in Senior Li. You guys!" Fong Ping had already gotten in the car. Behind him, Li Hansong followed in silence. Wang Jinyang also followed with a calm expression. Once Fong Ping got in the car, he laughed. "You guys still can't see it. It's fine if others can't see it. But if you guys can't see it, then you're stupid. The World Martial Arts Universities are a family, or rather, all martial artists in the world are a family. What are we martial artists? We're warriors who resist the invasion of the catacombs. We're all comrades in arms, comrades." I heard that someone actually entered MCMAU because of Li Hansong and called him a traitor. A traitor? Is that what a traitor says to a human hero? A bunch of newbies who have never entered the catacombs before. Where did they get the guts to bring such disgrace to a powerhouse who fought in the catacombs? Li Hansong has killed more martial artists in the catacombs than you've ever seen. You, Han Su, actually didn't think of forcefully suppressing this kind of dissent. You actually accompanied this brainless woman, Ling Yi, to question him? Fong Ping's face was full of dissatisfaction. He glanced at Ling Yi, who was glaring at him, and said softly, "Ling Yi, say it yourself. Is Li Hansong a traitor?" Ling Yi said angrily, "Then he shouldn't have gone to MCMAU. Can't he stay in CCMAU? Come on." Fong Ping sneered. What can CCMAU give Li Hansong? Help him become a Grand Master? At this time, humanity is facing a great crisis. Let me ask you, is it better to stay in CCMAU and continue to be a rank 6 instructor, or to go to MCMAU and become a rank 7 or even stronger Grandmaster to protect humanity? When it comes to killing enemies, does it still matter if they're from CCMAU or MCMAU? When Grandmaster powerhouses kill enemies, they only kill high-ranked powerhouses. How many people will die? A Grandmaster is comparable to a regular army of 10,000 martial artists. No, even an army of 10,000 martial artists can't exhaust a Grandmaster to death. Tell me which is more important. You're a petty big shot. When you've reached the middle ranks, you still can't tell the difference. What face do you have to be the president of the Martial Arts Society? If everyone is like you, so petty. Just because Li Hansong didn't stay in CCMAU, you call him a traitor. Then, is there still hope for humanity? Ling Yi's face turned red from his words. Han Su looked embarrassed too. Soon, however, Ling Yi retorted. Then, if he goes to MCMAU, he can become a Grandmaster? Nonsense. Fong Ping said proudly, Look, Li Hansong entered rank 6 at the same time as me, didn't he? And he only went to MCMAU for a few days, and now he's already a middle-stage rank 6 martial artist. This is enough to prove everything, right? Middle-stage rank 6. Both of them were shocked. Han Su could not help but ask, Seniorly, you're already middle-stage rank 6? Yes, this. Han Su was dumbfounded. Ling Yi was also dumbfounded. How could he be so fast? Seeing their expressions, Fong Ping sneered. Do you understand now? This year, Li Hansong has hopes of achieving Grandmaster, and all this is because he went to MCMAU. If he stayed in CCMAU, would there be any hope? CCMAU's development in recent years has been stagnant. Many good seedlings have been delayed. You, Ling Yi, are also a well-known figure. You used to be an existence that suppressed Qin Fengqing. What about now? Now that Qin Fengqing has entered upper stage rank 5, rank 6 is imminent. You, Han Su, participated in the championship with me back then. I won't talk about myself. You're upper stage rank 4, and Chunyinshi is almost peak rank 4. And some of those who are weaker than you back then are also about to surpass you. Not just one person, but many people. And you, Han Su, are the current face of CCMAU, the president of the Martial Arts Society. In MCMAU, a rank 4 wants to be the president. Even rank 5 has to wait in line. Good seedlings have been ruined. Of course, it's also related to your lack of ambition. Back then, during the second championship, I already said that you can consider coming to MCMAU. No one listened. And now, I forgot to mention, Li Hansong coming to MCMAU is actually your vice-chancellor's idea. Do you understand now? The opportunity is right in front of you. If you still have the heart to fight for once, you can consider coming to MCMAU. But to be honest, MCMAU is not short of rank for students now. There are too many, almost 100 people. If you go to MCMAU, you'll only be normal students. CCMAU's isolation has made you look at the sky from the bottom of a well. Do you really think that you're so strong? Fong Ping's words were a blow to both of them and made them lose their composure. Li Hansong glanced at Fong Ping, his eyes full of helplessness. Why did he have to give them a good blow? Li Hansong felt that it was a blow, while Wang Jinyang felt that this guy was up to no good. Was he trying to lure all the good seedlings of CCMAU to MCMAU? Was he not afraid that the Grandmasters of CCMAU would go crazy? Fong Ping did not care about this. He was just saying it casually. But then again, if these people went to MCMAU, they would indeed have a bright future. At CCMAU, it was fine to teach students step by step. If they wanted to improve by leaps and bounds in a short time, it would be difficult, too difficult. If they went to MCMAU, they might be able to form a middle-ranked student combat team. Let these people go to the Tiananmen catacombs and fight with the Tiananmen catacombs martial artists. That place was now extremely suitable for middle-ranked martial artists to train. Fang Ping's words made Ling Yi and Wang Jinyang lose their composure. They were confused and fell silent for a while. Fang Ping saw the situation and laughed again. Of course, you don't have to go to MCMAU, but martial arts universities are one. You can work together on normal days. The capital city catacombs is a little more comfortable. It's fine if there's no fighting, but when there is, it's a battle between high ranks. If you have time, you can go to MCMAU for an exchange. You can also form a team and go to the Magic City catacombs together. At this time, there's no need to be so clear. MCMAU and CCMAU are actually all one family. Han Su took a breath and nodded. I will. Actually, I've also considered going to MCMAU to learn. In these 2 years, MCMAU has indeed developed very quickly. About Senior Li, I will explain clearly to the students. Li Hansong finally spoke. He said dryly, actually it's nothing. I don't really care about these things. Don't say any more, Senior Li. It's true that we're too short-sighted. Han Su sighed softly. Previously, I heard people say that some grandmasters said that President Fang is the leader of the current generation of young martial artists. In our generation, no one has President Fang's vision, nor do we have President Fang's breadth of mind. When I heard this before, I was still a little upset. Now that I think about it, President Fang being recognized by the grandmasters is not just because of his strength. The grandmasters would not be so shallow as to praise someone as a leader just because of his strength. Li Hansong nodded in agreement. Fang Ping is worthy of the title of leader. If not, I wouldn't have gone to MCMAU. As soon as these words came out, Fang Ping appeared calm on the surface. In his heart, he had already rolled his eyes many times. Were the people from CCMAU so easy to fool now? It seemed like he would not only be leading MCMAU, he would be leading the martial arts universities in the future too, right? The previous 2 martial arts society presidents of CCMAU had already treated him as a leader. What else could he say? As they chatted, Ling Yi's face was full of indignation. Was this bastard really as amazing as they said? All right, she admitted that Fang Ping was very strong. But if he was strong, how did he become the leader of their generation? In Ling Yi's gloomy mood, the car arrived at CCMAU. Li Hansong went to look for the vice-chancellor and Su Zhan. Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang did not follow. Both of them did not get out of the car. They waited in the car for a while. Soon, a sports car stopped next to them. As soon as the car stopped, Jiang Chao laughed and said, Fang Ping, let's go. I'll take you for a ride. Fang Ping was speechless. They were martial artists who could perform the flight step. Who would care about this? Fang Ping could not be bothered with him. He said, Why are you the one who came to pick us up? I'm just leading the way. I'm not a child. I'm a rank 6 martial artist. How could I possibly bring the wrong person? Jiang Chao was unconcerned. He looked around and smiled. Baldy didn't come? He's only a rank 5. He can't participate in the competition. Why would he come? That guy should have gone to the catacombs. As Fang Ping said that, he glanced at him and laughed suddenly. Looks like you guys haven't been idling around these days. There's a little smell of blood on you. Of course. Jiang Chao laughed. This time I killed 2 ranks at an early stage? Jiang Chao was speechless. Fang Ping guessed it right. How amazing. An upper stage rank 6 killing an early stage rank 6 is indeed amazing. Fang Ping joked and walked down the road. Where is the competition being held? At the Martial Arts Association headquarters. Which day? The day after tomorrow. That's the 3rd. Most of the others are here now. Only the people from Pantheon haven't arrived yet. Jiang Chao had been at the Martial Arts Association for the past few days. He had a better understanding of the situation. He said, Fang Ping, you don't say. Before this, I thought that the people from Polaris were quite strong. Now I know that we're not. Let's not talk about those from abroad. The central government and the military department sent 8 people. Damn, they're all martial artists above upper stage rank 6. 4 upper stage rank, 6 for peak. One of them seems to have achieved mentality-vitality fusion. Fong Ping's eyes flickered. Were they that strong in the past? No, there weren't many peak rank 6 in the past. This time, there are too many peak rank 6. Jiang Chao continued. Zhang Nanqi and Li Fei have also achieved peak rank 6. These 2 fellows are quite crazy this time. They've killed a lot of people in the catacombs. Fong Ping, don't underestimate them. Also, there are 2 newcomers from Polaris. They're also peak rank 6. Fong Ping asked doubtfully, 2 more? Weren't the 10 of you all the last time? No. Jiang Chao shook his head. We were part of the last batch. 1 from each family came. Didn't I tell you? Polaris has a total of 13 families. Last time, 10 of them came. There's still 3 families who haven't sent anyone. This time, the other 2 families didn't send anyone either. Even the families of the 2 guardians didn't send anyone. Both of their families are considered to be on the military department side. The people from the military department are from their families. I know them too. The 2 fellows who came this time are from the Yang family. Fong Ping, you have to be careful. I have to be careful. Fong Ping was amused. Is it still because of what happened last time? But I've made myself clear enough. Even the government thinks that I only have credit. The Yang family doesn't remember my kindness. Don't tell me they want to find trouble with me. Jiang Chao said softly, I heard that Commander Li and Minister Zhang preached for your vice-chancellor. Your vice-chancellor is preparing to break through to rank 9 in seclusion. Excluding the Paragon Patriarchs, rank 9s are the pillars of our families. When Grandfather Yang passed away, the Yang family declined completely. If you had given that rank 9 corpse to the Yang family, that rank 8 from the Yang family might have been able to break through to rank 9. Before this, they didn't know that the corpse's origin was still there. If they knew, they would definitely not let it go so easily. Now, the corpse's origin was consumed. They only found out about this after that. The Yang family almost went crazy. I heard that the rank 8 from the Yang family went to Mount Royal Sea and complained to the other patriarchs. You also know that when Patriarch Yang passed away, the other patriarchs also remembered that the Yang family had it hard. However, the Paragon powerhouses can't make a move easily. Even if the other rank 9s join forces to kill a rank 9, to be honest, it's almost impossible to get a rank 9 corpse that still has its origin. This time, the patriarchs have no choice. That's why they gave the Yang family 2 slots. Other than the 3 of you, the government has 8 slots, and Polaris City has a total of 9 slots. Of the 9 slots, other than the Shun and Qin families, 11 families will get 9. The Yang family alone will get 2. The other 3 families won't get a single one this time. This is also the patriarch's intention. The 2 peak rank 6 from the Yang family, actually they seem to be more than 30 years old. However, you also know that if they consume a little more life essence, it won't be a problem to recast their bones. In order to let them enter the restricted area and become grandmasters, the Yang family must have spent a lot of money. Fong Ping said impatiently, That has nothing to do with me. They can enter their own places. Do you think they can snatch mine? Jiang Chao said softly, That's hard to say. If they snatch it from the foreigners and don't get it in the end, we can still snatch it ourselves. Of course, everyone didn't do that in the past, but it's hard to say this time. You're very strong, so they might not dare to give you trouble, but Old Wang and Old Li can't. They've just entered rank 6. When the time comes, they might even eliminate them first. Otherwise, they'll wait for you guys to make a move, and when both sides are injured, then they'll come after you. In any case, you guys have to be careful. Fong Ping looked at him for a while. Polaris City's big spy lived up to his name. This fatty, he leaked all kinds of information. Logically, Jiang Chao and the Yang family were in cahoots. How long had they known each other? Jiang Chao chuckled. Don't look at me like that this time. I might have to enter the restricted area too. The two Yang family fellows aren't close to me. If I go in, do you think they'll take care of me? But you guys are different. Fong Ping, I risk being beaten to death to leak information to you. If we really enter the restricted area together, you have to take care of me. You martial arts university people are awesome, killing people like killing chickens. The restricted area is very dangerous. Every time we go in, more than half of the people die. I don't want to die, but if I get a slot, I have no choice but to go. You're only upper stage rank 6. You can snatch it, but the Yang family's paragons can't? Fong Ping was speechless. Are you kidding me? Jiang Chao snorted. What do you know? When the time comes, I'll find the weakest one to challenge. If I win, I'll probably get a slot. You guys still have to wait for others to challenge you. Why? Nonsense. Jiang Chao was really disdainful now. He said exasperatedly, My old ancestor is amazing. The Yang family doesn't have a paragon old ancestor. Of course it's not safe. It's the same for you guys. Can I be the same? Even among the paragons, my old ancestor is one of the best. As long as I win one, 70 people, 30 slots. If I win one, then it's more or less a choice between two. Who would dare to find trouble with me? After all, 30 slots is not a small number. It's not just me. For the other 5 places, you should take it easy too. Try your best to defeat those without paragon old ancestors. There are a total of 50 people participating, but there are not that many paragon old ancestors. Under normal circumstances, a paragon old ancestor will only send one descendant. In this way, there are still many people without paragon old ancestors. These people can defeat them. Of course, in the end, you can find some weak paragon old ancestor descendants to bully. Don't be afraid. Sino Nation isn't afraid either. However, it's best not to find trouble with the descendants of Heaven of Gods, Sun God or God of War. Otherwise, their old ancestors will be unhappy and remember you. If they find trouble with you, you'll be finished. Fong Ping was speechless as he listened. At this time, he still had to find someone without a strong backing to bully. This fatty looked confident. If that was the case, this fellow's old ancestor was also the top-notch kind among the paragons? Just as Fong Ping was thinking about this, Jiang Chao said again, Also, don't fight all of them. Each family has to leave a few. For paragons like Totem City, there are fewer. Leaving 1 or 2 is enough. There are a lot of paragons like Heaven of Gods. You have to leave at least 3 or 4 for them. If you defeat all of them, then you're not leaving them any face at all. Fong Ping was speechless. He said, You have a lot of tricks. If I knew this, I would have just divided a few for each family. Why fight for slots? Is this a joke? Jiang Chao chuckled. You don't say. It's just a joke. The old ancestor is afraid that we'll really be useless. That's why he purposely created a competition. It's so that we can learn from each other in a relatively safe manner. Everyone's status is about the same, their age is about the same, and their ranks are about the same too. No one is willing to submit to the other. That's why this kind of competition was created. As for you guys, you're the ones who got in through connections. We're not the ones who got in through connections. You guys are. Minister Zhang insisted that you guys come. You guys don't have a powerful old ancestor either. Of course, it'll be harder than us. That's only fair. What do you think? Fong Ping thought about it and nodded. That makes sense. These slots were originally yours. Now that we outsiders want to take them away, it'll be difficult for us. Fong Ping, I knew you'd see through it. Jiang Chao grinned. It's so refreshing to talk to smart people. Those fellows from the military department and the government have lost their minds from practicing martial arts. Some of them are especially unhappy with us. They don't even think about it. If it weren't for Commander Li leaving and the Chen and Shen families' old ancestors going to the House of Guardians, the people of Star Town would have fought for the slots themselves. They have 8 slots, and those were fought for by these 3 paragons. Including you guys, they gave you 11 slots. Even Star Town doesn't have as many as you guys. We're the ones who are unhappy. Of course, I'm fine with it. Actually, I don't really want to go, but my grandfather said that if I dare to be a bystander, he'll throw me into the catacombs and leave me alone. Jiang Chao looked helpless. He sighed. That's why I have no choice but to fight for it. However, there are people in Star Town who really want to enter the restricted area. After all, everyone wants to become a grandmaster. It's very easy to become a grandmaster in the restricted area, provided that you're still alive. Even if we don't count the Chen and Shen families, there are still 10 paragons in Star Town after the fall of the Yang family's old ancestor. Now there are only 9 slots. Each family doesn't get a single one. Don't you think Star Town is the one who should be unhappy? Fong Ping nodded. After nodding, Fong Ping smiled. You've said so much. You don't want me to be unhappy. When we enter the restricted area, I'll take care of you. Is that what you mean? That's exactly what I mean. Don't tell me that your old ancestor won't care if you die in the restricted area. They won't care. Jiang Chao exhaled. Once we enter the restricted area, life and death are determined by fate. They really won't care. We're going there to become grandmasters. If they even care about this, then there'll be no sense of danger. Then we might as well not go. Usually when we're in the catacombs outer realm, there's someone to protect us. This time, when we enter the restricted area, we'll really have to rely on ourselves. Otherwise, do you think I'd say so much to you? Fong Ping, don't worry. Look after me. If there's any top-secret information, major events, or the movements of the paragons, I'll tell you guys secretly. Fong Ping was dumbfounded. This fatty was godly. In the past, he would have been a traitor for sure. Wang Jinyang was also dumbfounded. He had to admit defeat. This guy wouldn't rely on the catacombs to survive, would he? Jiang Chao seemed to understand what Wang Jinyang meant. He immediately said seriously, "Don't worry, I won't rely on the catacombs. Besides, if I really dare to, my old ancestor can personally beat me into minced meat. If the descendants of the paragons rely on the catacombs, they'll be killed without a doubt. Even the powerhouses of the catacombs won't do anything." Fong Ping did not know whether to laugh or cry. He said, "So you really had this idea before? Fatty, with your unscrupulous character, I have to guard against you, lest you betray me one day." "What are you saying?" Jiang Chao was a little indignant. "Even if I betray someone, it depends on who it is." "Tell me, are you a bad person? Is old Wang a bad person? That can't be right. I only did it because I felt that you guys were more reliable. That's why I did it. If it was someone less reliable, would I do it? Counting on others is not reliable. Those fellows in Star City are not very reliable. I'm doing this because I trust you guys. I'm willing to do anything for you guys. How dare you guys doubt my character? Don't worry. I, Jiang Chao, am also a man. If you guys really want to protect me, I definitely won't do something ungrateful, right?" Fong Ping had his reservations. His grandpa had almost sold out Star Town. You don't know much. Otherwise, you would dare to say anything to others. The last time they went to the bounded boundaries, this fellow revealed everything to Qin Fengqing. Most importantly, this fellow also liked to eavesdrop on their elders' conversations. The information he revealed was more confidential than Su Zissou and the others. Fong Ping glanced at Old Wang. Old Wang shook his head slightly. It was not a rejection, but he did not care about this. Fong Ping could do whatever he wanted. If they really entered the restricted area, Fong Ping would decide whether to protect this fellow or not. Fong Ping did not say much. He said casually, "We'll see when the time comes. We don't know the specific situation yet." Jiang Chao smiled like the Maitreya Buddha. "Look, I'm so smart. Although Fang Ping said to see when the time comes, I've already worked so hard. Every time I sell information to you guys, how can I refuse? A rank 6 mentality materialized was no weaker than those who had mentality-vitality fusion, maybe even stronger. This was called reliable." Chapter 540. After chatting with Jiang Chao for a while, Li Hansong returned. Li Hansong's eyes were slightly red. He might be an honest man, but he was still an iron-blooded martial artist. He could not hide his emotions, as if he had been crying. Seeing Fang Ping and the others looking at him, Li Hansong forced his front teeth and laughed dryly. "It's done. We can go now." Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang did not say anything, but Jiang Chao chuckled. "Old Li, what happened? Did your girlfriend run away with someone else?" As he said this, Jiang Chao glanced at Ling Yi and Han Su, whose expressions were complicated. He said with disdain, "You don't need this kind of woman. What's so good about a pretty boy? You, Li Hansong, are destined to achieve great things. This woman dumped you today. You'll regret it for the rest of your life." Jiang Chao's voice was especially loud. He said it for Ling Yi and Han Su to hear. He did not know either of them. Rank 4 martial artists like them were not worthy of his attention. However, Jiang Chao analyzed the situation and came up with a rough idea of what had happened. It was nothing more than that between a man and a woman. The woman dumped Li Hansong and fell in love with a pretty boy. The pretty boy might have been Li Hansong's brother in the past. Li Hansong was an honest man. Although he was strong, he still chose to let them be. Just thinking about it made Jiang Chao feel bad for Li Hansong. Of course, he despised Ling Yi and Han Su even more. His voice grew louder. "Old Li, it seems like you like this type. If it really doesn't work out, I'll suffer a little. I won't chase Zissou anymore. I'll let you have her." Zissou is also petite, but in terms of body, she's much better than this flat one. The fatty spoke to himself, thinking that he was righteous enough to avenge Li Hansong. However, Jiang Chao quickly realized that something was wrong. Li Hansong and the others stared at him blankly. Not far away, the woman was glaring at him with a murderous intent. She had even taken out her axe. Jiang Chao's mouth twitched. Then, without another word, he got into the car and shouted, "Follow me!" With that, Jiang Chao's car drove away with a hum. After he left, Li Hansong said gloomily, "Is this guy an idiot?" Wang Jinyang looked up at the sky. "If you say so, then so be it. However, others had the right to call others stupid, but you, Taitu, shouldn't say such things." In the distance, Han Su had regained his composure. Keeping a distance from Zhang Xian, he did not walk over to send him off. Instead, he said, "I wish Senior Zhang all the best in the world. May you become a grandmaster soon." Li Hansong didn't say much and nodded heavily. Beside him, Ling Yi also looked at him for a while. She gritted her teeth and said, "You are the glory of CCMAU. You will always be. Even if you die in battle, remember to bury you in CCMAU." Li Hansong smiled. Han Su kicked Ling Yi lightly. Seeing this, Fang Ping was a little speechless. "All right, that's enough. Cell phone, internet, video chat. If that doesn't work, high-speed rail or plane. Which one of them wouldn't be able to meet right away? You're making it sound like we're going to be parting forever. That's enough. It's normal for martial arts university graduates to work in other schools. I can't stand you guys." Li Hansong was a little embarrassed by Fang Ping's words. Ling Yi said in embarrassment, "It's none of your business." "How rude. You have no manners." Fang Ping let out a humph. As he got into the car, he said, "Oh, right. Qin Fengqing said he likes you and has always wanted to pursue you. He was too embarrassed to say it, so I said it on his behalf. If you have time, you can go to MCMAU for a walk." Qin Fengqing even shaved his head to muster up the courage to confess to you. The scene was silent. Ling Yi's face was blank. What a joke. She knew Qin Fengqing. They had met a few times, but that guy liked her. Who was he trying to fool? At this moment, Fang Ping had already gotten into the car. He sighed softly. Martial artists don't talk about love affairs. The catacombs isn't fair. If you talk about it, you'll hurt yourself and others. I've said too much. Qin Fengqing could die in the catacombs at any time. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Let's go. Having said that, the car started and left slowly. On the spot, Ling Yi was still in a daze. Then, she scolded loudly, "Get lost. I'm not even close to him. What does his death have to do with me?" Scolding aside, Ling Yi waited until the car was far away before she suddenly blushed. She looked at Han Su and said, Say, do you really like me?" Han Su rolled his eyes. Ling Yi was probably not interested in Qin Fengqing. The key was that no one chased after this fierce woman, and no one dared to. Now that she heard that someone liked her, she must be very happy. This time he could tell that Fang Ping's words were 100% fake. However, Han Su suspected that if he said that, Ling Yi would either beat him up or think that Han Su, was jealous. The possibility was very high. This senior's brain circuit was also different from others. What if she thought that he was jealous and latched onto him? Thinking of this, Han Su said seriously, "It's very normal. A young martial arts powerhouse like Qin Fengqing admires a female martial arts powerhouse of the same age like you. Senior Ling, you don't have to care about him. There are many people who like you. It doesn't matter if he's the only one." Ling Yi nodded reservedly. "Yes, there are many people who like me. Who does Qin Fengqing think he is? Just this guy next to me pestered me all the time. He might be interested in me too." Thinking of this, Ling Yi suddenly snorted. She glanced at Han Su, carried her big axe, and walked away arrogantly. She did not care. He was so weak that he could not even compare to Qin Fengqing. Han Su shook his head, looking helpless. Crazy woman. In the car, Li Hansong did not know whether to laugh or cry. Old Qin didn't say that he likes Yi, did he? Don't try to matchmake them. Yi is very serious. If this, Fang Ping said with a smile, I'm just saying. Qin Fengqing is very narcissistic. He doesn't like Ling Yi even if she pursues him. As he said that, Fang Ping smiled and changed the topic. What did your vice-chancellor say just now? Speaking of this, Li Hansong did not talk about Ling Yi. He said with a rare melancholy, the vice-chancellor said that CCMAU has declined in his hands, and he's quite disappointed. He also said that MCMAU's old vice-chancellor died in battle. At least he got some glory, as Li Hansong said that his voice became lower and lower. From what the vice-chancellor said, he might have the same thoughts. Fang Ping patted Li Hansong's shoulder and chuckled. Don't worry. For someone like CCMAU's vice-chancellor, if he wants to fight to the death, it's not up to him. CCMAU doesn't have a good arrangement. No one will take over. He can't die even if he wants to. What he said was very realistic, but also very sad. Some people really wanted to fight to the death, but it depended on whether they could do it or not. MCMAU had a successor. Wu Quishan was that successor. CCMAU currently did not have a leading figure. No one could take over the vice-chancellor's position. At this time, even if CCMAU's vice-chancellor wanted to fight to the death, he would not have the chance. It was different from the previous Tiananmen battle. That was a national mobilization. If he really died in battle then, it could not be helped. Just as Fang Ping and the others were heading to the Martial Arts Association headquarters. Martial Arts Association. In terms of function, the Sino-Nation Martial Arts Association was an important department that governed all the martial artists in Sino-Nation. It was so important that, according to the definition, the Martial Arts Association was the department with the most power in Sino-Nation. In reality, although the Martial Arts Association was not an empty shell, its power was not too great. The 3 ministries and 4 houses were the most important departments in Sino Nation. In the Martial Arts Association, only the president was a rank 8 and the deputy president was a rank 7 Grandmaster powerhouse. Currently, there were only 2 main tasks. First, to assess casual martial artists. In this case, it referred to the lower 3 ranks of martial artists. Second, to manage the ranking. Of course, the Martial Arts Association would sometimes organize some activities and competitions. Nowadays, some of the martial artist combat teams in various places were registered with the Martial Arts Association. In the Martial Arts Association, in a large open-air square, in the middle of the ring, 2 martial artists were sparring. Below the ring, some people were watching. Some were from the association and some were outsiders. Below the ring, a young man with a crew cut and wearing a military singlet watched the sparring for a while. He looked bored and turned to look at Li Fei. He chuckled. "Little Fei, tell me again. How are Fang Ping and the others' abilities?" Li Fei did not say a word. The young man suddenly put on a stern face and shouted, "What kind of attitude is this? Is this how you treat your brother? Do you believe that I won't beat you up?" Li Fei looked aggrieved. After a while he said, "I've said it many times. You keep asking. They'll be here soon. Can't you just spar with them yourself?" The young man sighed. I can't spar." At this point, the young man shook his head slowly. "I'm afraid that if I kill them, it'll be hard to explain. When powerhouses like us spar, it's also a matter of life and death. It's different from you kids." Li Fei was going crazy. He said in a low voice, "I'm peak rank 6. The young man in front of him was also peak rank 6. Both of them were in the same rank. Both of them were the same age. But the other was a few months older than him. What about now? This guy was acting like he was their elder and they were kids. These few days, Li Fei was so angry that he wanted to leave the Martial Arts Association. Peak rank 6? The young man looked melancholy. He continued to sigh. "Peak rank 6 and peak rank 6 are different. In my eyes, you're still kids who haven't grown up. Playing games is fine, but fighting to the death. You guys should just forget about it." Little Fei, the outside world, says that military martial artists are first among their ranks, and martial arts universities are second. Actually, it's still wrong. In our opinion, there's no doubt that the military martial artists are first, followed by martial artists from the House of Guardians, martial arts universities, and the Department of Investigation Services. After that, it's the local government martial artists, followed by the middle and high-ranked martial artists in society. Lastly, it's the martial artists from Star Town. I'm talking about those below high ranks. That's why the gap between you and me is too big. The young man continued to shake his head. According to this classification, although both of us are in the same rank, the gap is like heaven and earth. Don't talk to me about being in the same rank, kid. As soon as the young man said this, Zheng Nanqi and the others around him looked annoyed. This guy talked too much nonsense. 8 powerhouses from the central government and the military department had come. The others were very cold, but this guy was the only one who could not stop nagging. Nagging was one thing, but there was nothing they could do about it. There was no other reason. This guy was from the military, but he was also from Star Town. They were all Paragon old ancestors, who knew how many generations of ancestors they were separated from. He was Paragon Grandpa. Li Zhen was this guy's grandfather. His background was frighteningly strong. The Li family's background was strong enough. One family with 2 paragons. Although Li Zhen had already left Star Town and was now leading the military department, representing the government, it did not mean that he had fallen out with Star Town. The Li family's old ancestor in Star Town was also Li Zhen's old ancestor. Li Zhen's descendants truly had a heaven-defying background. Even the second generations of Stellar Sky City had to be courteous to them. Originally, everyone was too lazy to care about him. They each went their own way. If you ignore me, I won't bother with you. However, This guy Li Yiming did not seem like someone from the military department at all. Military martial artists were usually quiet, but this guy just had to be talkative. Moreover, every word he said was the kind that hurt people's hearts. Zhang Nanqi and the others looked at Li Fei with some sympathy. You're unlucky to have a cousin like this. Li Fei's grandfather and Li Zhan were cousins. In their generation, their relationship was actually quite distant. However, for a big family, a few generations was not too far away. Once Li Yiming arrived, he kept asking Li Fei all sorts of questions. It was fine if he asked, but the thing was, this guy would hit them every time. At this moment, Li Fei wanted nothing more than to hack this bastard to death. Fang Ping's mentality materialization should be stronger than his, right? It's best if this bastard provokes Fang Ping and gets killed by Fang Ping. Li Fei knew himself well. He was indeed not as good as Li Yiming. This guy was wild and arrogant, but he had the right to be so. His grandfather was a paragon, his father was also a rank 8 golden body, and he himself was also a peak rank 6. He grew up in the military, or more accurately, he grew up in the catacombs. How could a peak rank 6 like this not be strong? But you're strong all you want. Aren't you embarrassed to always bully us? Li Fei cursed in his heart. Li Yiming did not care about him. He looked around, yawned, and said, "It's quite boring. Instead of watching you guys exchange pointers, I might as well catch 2 monsters and fight them. If I knew it would be so boring, I would have waited until the 3rd to come. When will Fang Ping and the others arrive?" Someone actually said that the kid is similar to my grandfather when he was young, and that he's the current martial arts leader. I, Li Yiming, haven't said anything, and this kid dares to say that? Li Yiming's face was full of displeasure. Next to him, a cold-looking young man said slowly, "When there's no tiger in the mountain, the monkey calls himself king." The real powerhouses are all hiding their strength and biding their time. For the sake of some empty reputation, the common folk don't know their place. Before he finished speaking, Li Yiming suddenly looked at him and scolded, "Get lost! Who do you think you are?" "I have the right to despise him. Who do you think you are? Are you trying to provoke me? Get lost now, or else I'll kill you with my sword." The young man who just spoke changed his expression. Li Yiming snorted coldly. "What are you looking at? You want to fight me? Don't look at us as equals. If you can take 3 of my swords, you're good. I despise people like you the most. You don't have any abilities, but you have a lot of tricks up your sleeves. I'll kill whoever I don't like. If you have the guts, kill him directly. Stop talking nonsense. You're already in your 30s, and you're still pretending to be young. Do you think I won't know just because you've changed your identity? Why don't you let your Yangqing come? Yangqing is more reliable than you guys by pretending to be young." As soon as he said that, another young martial artist in the crowd had an ugly expression. He said in a low voice, "Li Yiming, you're taking advantage of my patriarch's death. Get lost!" Li Yiming scolded, "Don't King mention your background. You're better than me, so I'll admit that you're a man. Even if your patriarch is alive and you're as timid as a dog, I'll still look down on you. You're a peerless patriarch? My grandfather is still a peerless patriarch. What's so great about that? I'll become a peerless patriarch sooner or later. Hurry up and get lost. If you don't get lost and anger me, I'll kill you, do you believe me?" Seeing the ugly expressions on the 2 young family members, Li Fei had no choice but to mediate. "Li, cousin brother, don't use vulgar language." So what if I use vulgar language?" Li Yiming looked disapproving. He crossed his arms and said casually, "If you don't use vulgar language, how can you call yourself a military martial artist?" "Our military martial artists go up and scold people. If we can beat them, we scold them. If we can't beat them, we scold them to death. We'll piss them off." Everyone was speechless. For a moment, no one said anything. At this moment, Li Yiming suddenly turned around and glanced at them. He squinted and smiled. "They're here. Speaking of which, I haven't really interacted with people from martial arts universities in so many years. I'd like to see for myself." As soon as he said that, a few figures walked toward them from afar. From afar, Jiang Chao laughed. "Fang Ping and the others are here." Jiang Chao was still laughing when a sword aura cut through the air and appeared in front of him in the blink of an eye. Jiang Chao panicked and scolded, "Mother f***, I didn't even provoke you!" Bang. He was halfway through his sentence when Li Hansong stood up and smashed the sword aura with a punch. He curled his lips and muttered, "Child's play." Not far away, Li Yiming's eyebrows twitched. He said with a faint smile, "You're Fang Ping." Li Hansong glanced at him and ignored him. Behind him, Fang Ping also glanced at Li Yiming and smiled faintly. "I'm Fang Ping. This brother, here, attacked us out of the blue." "That's not right, is it?" "Pfft, I'm just playing. Why don't you give me a blow too?" "That won't be necessary," Fang Ping said and smiled. "I like using sabers. I'll give you one. You run away first." As he said that, a blood-red saber materialized in the air in the blink of an eye. The blood-red saber shot out, and the air seemed to tremble. Li Yiming, who had a playful look on his face just now, suddenly turned serious when he saw this. Then, Li Yiming suddenly turned around and ran. He was not the only one running. The people around him also fled at lightning speed. The blood-red saber in the air expanded in the blink of an eye. It grew bigger and bigger until it covered the sky. When the blood-red saber neared the place where Li Yiming had been, it suddenly expanded to its limit. The next moment, a deafening bang was heard. Boom! There was a loud explosion. When the smoke and dust settled, everyone could not help but look at the huge crater that was more than 10 meters in diameter and 5 to 6 meters deep. Fang Ping's expression was calm. He smiled and said, "I was just playing. Sorry for the embarrassment. Do you want to play some more?" As soon as he said that, countless blood-red sabers appeared in the air around Fang Ping. In the distance, the corner of Li Yiming's mouth twitched. Li Fei and the others were stunned. "You call this playing? A show of strength. The tables have turned." Before they could show their strength to the martial arts university people, the martial arts university people showed their strength to them first. Chapter 541. An outsider like Fang Ping was extremely arrogant. Li Yiming had given him a sword light, and he had returned with a sword light that was 100 times larger. Some people were dissatisfied, while others were cautious. Li Yiming didn't say anything, but a strange look appeared on his face. He grinned and said, "Interesting, there's actually someone more arrogant than me. Interesting, interesting." At Li Yiming's words, a few military martial artists looked at Fang Ping sympathetically. It was over. Li Yiming was interested in this brat. This brat was going to be in trouble. Similarly, Wang Jinyang looked sympathetically at the guy in the distance. It's over. Not only did he provoke Fang Ping first, but now he wanted to compete with him in terms of arrogance. It looked like he was going to continue playing with him. This kid was done for. Wang Jinyang calculated in his heart. How long would Fang Ping need to deal with this guy? Did he scam the other party to the point of losing his pants? Or did he dupe the other party to the point of being iron-headed and licking his boots whenever he saw him? The spectators on both sides were pitying each other, but Fang Ping acted as if nothing had happened. The crimson saber disappeared and he laughed. "I was just joking. We're on the same side. How could we really fight? If you have the energy, you can kill a few catacombs with mentality-vitality fusion. It's better than wasting your vitality here." In his words, essence and blood fusion was like a cabbage that could be killed at any time. Li Yiming laughed when he heard that. "That's true. We're all on the same side. There's no point in fighting to the death. If we're going to do something, it's the catacombs martial artists." After that, the two of them walked toward each other at the same time. Then, like old friends who had not seen each other for many years, they hugged each other and patted each other's backs. "Nice to meet you. I'm Li Yiming from the military." "Fang Ping, MCMAU student." Bang, bang, bang. While the two of them were talking, they clapped loudly and communicated with each other as they clapped. Fong Ping, I've long heard of your great name. It's better to meet you in person than to hear about you. You're overpraising me. The powerhouses of the military headquarters are still the best. They're willing to shed blood for us humans. Boom, boom, boom. At first, the two of them could still chat. In the end, under everyone's dumbfounded gazes, the two of them stopped chatting. Li Yiming's back was about to be punched through. On the other hand, Fong Ping's expression was one of agony. Li Yiming had a smug look on his face. However, as he hammered it, Li Yiming began to curse. He was still hammering. If he hammered again, he would really be pierced through. Also, there was something wrong with this guy. Just as Li Yiming was thinking about this, someone in the crowd suddenly exclaimed in a low voice. Fong Ping's clothes were torn. Then, a dim golden light appeared on his back. This is a 9th grade demonic beast inner armor. It's rank 9. All of them were rank 6 martial artists, so their judgment was not bad. Previously, no one had noticed. Fong Ping's martial arts uniform had covered his body, and no one had noticed what he was wearing underneath. But at this moment, everyone saw it. It was an inner armor made from the skin of a 9th grade demonic beast. When a monster reached rank 8, its body would be forged with a golden body. This kind of inner armor made of leather was not only a matter of defending against piercing weapons, but also had a certain energy isolation function, and at level 9 it would be even more powerful. Moreover, the inner armor that Fong Ping wore was not made from any random part of a rank 9 monster skin. That was the most essential part. Li Yiming hammered for a long time, but neither of them used the tremor force, nor did they intend to shatter the opponent's internal organs. In this way, Li Yiming could not even penetrate the defense of the inner armor. At this moment, Li Yiming's face turned black. F***CKU. This bastard was still pretending to be in extreme pain earlier. So you were just messing with me? Li Yiming pushed Fong Ping away. His face was dark and he sneered. Well done. It's getting more and more interesting. Fong Ping smiled, as if he did not know anything. Brotherly, please excuse me. Rank 9 inner armor, is it? Looks like I'll have to wear my ultimate inner armor later. Fong Ping's pupils shrank instantly. Then, a brilliant smile bloomed on his face. He laughed and said, Brotherly, don't joke around. Impasse inner armor? How is that possible? You don't believe me? Li Yiming sneered. Usually, I'm too lazy to wear this thing. It's boring. If I were to fight on the ground, wearing this would be boring. Leather armor, inner armor, and the like were not considered divine weapons. Divine weapons could greatly increase combat strength, and they could be used as living things. These armors, on the other hand, were just inanimate objects. No matter how high their grade was, they could not be considered divine weapons. After all, no matter how strong the inner armor was, if a powerhouse crushed your mentality in an instant, you would still die. Even so, this kind of high-grade inner armor could sometimes be used to save lives. Especially against those below the high ranks, most people would not rely on mentality to fight, even if it was mentality-vitality fusion. It was impossible for a rank 6 martial artist to penetrate the ultimate inner armor, no matter how hard he slashed. The only way was to smash the other party's head or shatter the other party's internal organs. Fong Ping's eyes flickered. Military martial artist, surname Li Ultimate Inner Armor. Alright, if he still could not guess the other party's identity, he would be really stupid. Li Zhen's direct descendant. If he was not a grandson, then he was a great-grandson. After all, Li Zhen was still young. Even if he was a son, it was still possible. Thinking of this, Fong Ping said with a smile, That's because I'm ignorant. Brotherly, you also know that martial arts universities are too poor, and their strength is also shallow. The inner armor I'm wearing is from our vice-chancellor. Sigh. Fong Ping sighed and said softly, This inner armor is the only rank 9 inner armor that MCMAU has accumulated for decades. I don't know how many MCMAU instructors and students' blood it has been stained. Before I came, the grandmasters in the school told me that the people participating in the competition this time are all human elites. All of you use divine weapons like alloy weapons and drink life essence like water. But MCMAU can't embarrass the martial arts universities too much. Not only the martial arts universities, but also Minister Zhang. We can't embarrass the old man. Getting an inner armor was just to look impressive. I didn't expect. Sai, let's not talk about it. Fong Ping's face was full of sorrow, his face full of bitterness. Beside him, Jiang Chao and the others looked at each other. So familiar, so familiar. They had heard Fong Ping say this before, not so long ago. First, he flaunted his wealth in front of them. Then he pretended to be ignorant and started to act pitiful, making everyone feel bad. After that, they lost 5 divine weapons in MCMAU. Now this guy was here again. Zhang Nanqi glanced at Li Yiming, then at Fong Ping, wanting to say something, but hesitating. Forget it. Let's not care about them. These 2 guys were not good people. Whether Fong Ping tricked Li Yiming or Li Yiming killed Fong Ping, that was their own business. Regardless of what they thought, Fong Ping quickly recovered his smile and said, "We're all on the same side. Let's not talk about this. I like to make friends. Brother Yiming, we still have to work together to deal with the foreigners this time. I was just joking before, don't mind it." Li Yiming looked at him for a while, nodded slightly and said nothing. Wang Jinyang, on the other hand, glanced at Fong Ping. Was he going to make friends again? Could he not look at others with that kind of gaze when making friends? Li Yiming did not feel anything from Fong Ping's gaze. However, those who knew Fong Ping well knew that this guy was probably calculating other people's net worth. Wang Jinyang was too lazy to speak. At this time, a military martial artist who looked extremely calm stood up and said, "General Fong, my name is Du Hong, and I'm also the temporary leader this time. Everyone get to know each other first. General Fong, you probably don't know much about the specific situation. I'll introduce you later." Du Hong was also the only powerhouse who had achieved mentality-vitality fusion among the people who came this time. If his surname was Du, then he was not a member of the Shan or Qin family. Fong Ping did not expect that the strongest person this time was not a descendant of a paragon. However, it was normal when he thought about it. After all, the central government ruled Sino Nation, and there were a lot of talents. Among more than 1 billion people, it was not difficult to choose a few geniuses to train. After all, the Paragon family only had so few people. There were a total of 20 people from Sino Nation participating in the competition. On the government's side, Fong Ping and the others were actually considered part of the government, representing the Ministry of Education. There were a total of 11 people. Among the 11 people, the weakest were Fong Ping and the other 2. All of them were middle stage rank 6. As for the other 9 people, there were 4 peak rank SXS for upper stage and 1 middle stage. Su Zissou. Fong Ping was still a little surprised to see Su Zissou. This girl had been early stage rank 6 last time, and now she had improved and entered middle stage rank 6. Fong Ping did not know how long she had been stuck at early stage rank 6, but it should not be too long. However, participating in the competition as a middle stage rank 6, was she not sending herself to death? As if sensing that Fong Ping was looking at her, Su Zissou giggled and said, "My family is just here to join in the fun. Among those under 30 years old, I'm the strongest in my family. However, if I'm lucky, there's still hope for me to get a spot." It was not that the other major forces did not have any middle stage rank 6 martial artists. They did, and there were quite a few of them. If she was lucky, she might not be unable to get a spot. When it came to fighting for a spot, these people would be the last to fight. The ones who would really fight first were Fong Ping and the others. Even if these people were very strong, a batch of them had to be eliminated first, the best of the best, and the rest would be left. Fong Ping understood and did not say anything more. At this time, Fong Ping also felt two unfriendly gazes. People from the Yang family. Fong Ping knew what was going on. He glanced at the two of them and did not say anything. He actually knew that the Yang family was unhappy. Yang Qing was very unhappy last time. There was no other reason. In the eyes of the Yang family, the spoils that Fong Ping obtained belonged to them. This was because Fong Ping himself had said last time that he took advantage of the situation. The ones who really crippled Rose City, Lord, were Tai Mu and Yang Daohong. According to the rules of spoils distribution, even if Yang Daohong died, he would still get a big half. However, that was a group battle, an official mission. Yang Daohong's trip to the bounded territory was not an official mission. It could only be considered as a private adventure for Star Town and even the Yang family. At this time, Fong Ping did not need to follow the rules of spoils distribution. He brought back Yang Daohong's remains and returned the rank 9 divine weapon. He had already done his best. That was why last time even Nan Yunyue and the others did not mention the matter of the spoils being distributed to the Yang family. Whether this matter was divided or not, that was Fong Ping's own will. If Fong Ping was unwilling, no one could say anything. As for Fong Ping, naturally he was unwilling. What a joke! If Yang Qing from the Yang family had been more polite to him last time and thanked him a little, he probably would not have shared it, but at least he had a better impression of him. In the end, Yang Qing did not even say a word of thanks. Fong Ping could not be bothered with them. Fong Ping was sure that without him, not only would Yang Daohong and the others have all died, even the rank 9 divine weapon and corpses would not have returned. In the situation that day, if not for him, the last person to reap the benefits would most likely be the Rose City Lord. This was because the other party would not have been discovered in the beginning. Naturally, there would not have been a subsequent battle. If a hidden rank 9 appeared when both sides had exhausted their trump cards, those people would all die. Everything that the Rose King left behind. Fong Ping naturally wanted to take it for himself. After all, he was the one who obtained it. Du Hong was still helping to introduce everyone. On the government's side, there were 7 other people. Other than Li Yiming, there was one with the surname Shen and one with the surname Qin. Moreover, they were all peak rank 6. In this way, the descendants of the 3 great paragons were all peak rank 6. Including Du Hong, these were the only peak powerhouses in the government. The other 4 were all upper stage. 20 people, 8 peak, 8 upper stage, and 4 middle stage. 3 martial arts university students, including Fong Ping, were all middle stage. It seemed that martial arts university students were naturally the weakest. However, Fong Ping and the rest were the youngest. Even the oldest, Li Hansong, was only 23 years old. Fong Ping was 20 years old, and Wang Jinyang was 21 years old. The others, especially the 2 from the Yang family, were all over 30 years old. Du Hong also happened to be 30 years old. Du Hong introduced for a while, then said, "The people from the other parties are almost all here. However, they are not here now. They are all at the hotel arranged by the government. The competition starts the day after tomorrow. The rules are very simple. Challenge. Everyone has the right to challenge 3 times, but they can only be challenged 3 times. In other words, the worst-case scenario is to fight 6 battles. The last 30 people left will have the quota to enter the restricted area. It's that simple." Fong Ping smiled. "General Du, can people from the same force challenge people from the same side? There are no restrictions." Du Hong glanced at him, frowning slightly. After thinking for a while, he said, "But there's no need for this. We're all on the same side. Naturally, we'll be united against outsiders." Fong Ping chuckled. "Of course. I also hope that Sino Nation can get more quotas. If we can get 20 people, that would be even better. We can enter the restricted area together. I, Fong Ping, still have this big picture." After saying that, Fong Ping asked again, "How strong are the people from the other parties?" I'm not too sure at the moment. However, according to a few grandmasters, their strength is not weak. There are many peak rank 6. There are also a few who have achieved mentality-vitality fusion. The other 5 parties also had dozens of peak-level powerhouses, which was much more than Sino Nation's total. Fang Ping was not surprised that Sino Nation had powerhouses who achieved mentality-vitality fusion. However, Fang Ping still asked, "Are there any high ranks?" "I'm not too sure about this." Du Hong shook his head. The probability of a grandmaster appearing is very low. After so many years, there are only a few. Moreover, even if someone becomes a grandmaster before the age of 30, they might not come to the competition. Grandmasters, if they want to, they can enter the restricted area too. Of course, entering through the quota is relatively safer. Therefore, under normal circumstances, the youth competition is fought for by rank 6. Also, some grandmasters below the age of 30 have actually entered the restricted area before through the youth competition. In the batch 3 years ago, there were many who entered the grandmaster level. Many of them are not even 30 years old. However, they won't come to participate again. It's meaningless. Fang Ping nodded. Now that he mentioned it, he remembered. That was true. The batch 3 years ago, or even the batch 6 years ago, might not even be 30 years old now. After entering the restricted area, if they could become grandmasters quickly, they would not be over the age limit now. Then, will there be people who cheat and let those grandmasters who have not entered the restricted area change their bone age to participate in the competition? Fang Ping asked again. As soon as the words left his mouth, the faces of the 2 Yang family members darkened. It was possible to change one's bone age. In reality, a martial artist's age was sometimes very difficult to detect. Take Li Chongqing, for example. How old was he? According to his bone age, 1 year old? His original bones were all shattered. In the later stages, only some broken bones were remolded. The youth competition said that it was under 30 years old. However, as long as you did not have white hair and participated with an old face, most people would not care how old you were. Of course, if the other party was a grandmaster powerhouse, they would have to consider it. If someone really came to expose them, would they still be able to keep their face? More or less. Grandmasters had some fame. Some grandmasters had been famous for decades. If they wanted to pretend to be young, they would have to see if others would agree. The 2 Yang family members were not famous. They were just normal peak rank 6 martial artists. If they consumed some life essence and remolded their bones a little, not many people would care if they fooled them. Du Hong looked at Fang Ping again, a little helpless. Was he taking the initiative to provoke the 2 Yang family members? Fang Ping really did not mean that. He was talking about grandmasters. He could not be bothered with these 2 guys who were not even grandmasters. Du Hong pondered for a moment and said, "The probability is not high. Even if we are not familiar with some people, it does not mean that others are not. If they have really become grandmasters and are over 30 years old, they usually will not participate." Understood. Fang Ping nodded. It was a simple rule, but it sounded very loose. However, it was a game. A game prepared for these rich second generations did not need to be so strict. There was a wide range of maneuverability. There was no limit on how many rounds they had to win. If they won 1 round, they would qualify. No one would challenge them. In the end, they could still get a spot. If they won 5 rounds, they would be defeated in the last round. Sorry, they would not have a chance. The chances of the rich second generations fighting 1 round were higher. As for Fang Ping and the others, they might have to fight all 6 rounds to get a spot. If I want to get a spot, I have to at least leave myself a chance to challenge until the end. Even if I don't use it, it's best not to use it all. Fang Ping had a plan in his mind. Maybe he could take the initiative to use up all 3 chances to be challenged. That way he would have the upper hand and could fight whoever he wanted. Fang Ping glanced at Old Wang and Iron Head. Should the three of them fight among themselves first, challenge each other, and use up all the chances to be challenged? As he was thinking about that, Du Hong added, "Oh right, challenges have priority. Mentality-vitality fusion starts first, and it goes down according to the strength level." Fang Ping could not help but frown. That means that us middle stage, rank, SAXS will be fighting those foreign mentality-vitality fusion powerhouses. Their ranks were the lowest. As for Su Zissou, she had a paragon ancestor. Under normal circumstances, those people would not attack these people first. Fang Ping and the others would naturally become the targets of all parties. Although Du Hong did not want to admit it, he had to nod. Indeed, the few of you, your opponents, are most likely mentality-vitality fusion powerhouses. Of course, you might not be challenged. However, Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong will definitely be challenged. Therefore, when facing a mentality-vitality fusion powerhouse, everyone must be careful. There's another rule, no surrendering. So, once the other party attacks, they might injure you severely and not give you the chance to challenge others. It's useless even if you have 3 chances to challenge. No surrendering. Fang Ping raised his eyebrows. I can't surrendering even if I'm beaten to death? If you lose your combat strength, the other party will also stop. However, if you're careless and get killed, there's nothing you can do. Fang Ping could not help but laugh. I understand. This is also targeted at us. As for the others, they won't be killed. Du Hong's expression was helpless. Yes, this was only targeted at them and Fang Ping. If they participated in the competition, their lives would be in danger. As for the descendants of the Paragon, there was no such thing. It was just that realistic. Even if he had mentality-vitality fusion, his life might still be in danger. However, a middle stage rank, 6 like Su Zissou would not be in danger. Fang Ping did not ask anymore. He understood the rules. As for Old Wang and Ironhead, Fang Ping did not think that they were any worse than mentality-vitality fusion martial artists. Chapter 542. After chatting with Du Hong for a while, a grandmaster came over. Minister Wang was one of them. Fang Ping was now certain that Old Wang was an errand boy. He was everywhere. Not only Minister Wang, but the government also attached great importance to the competition. Among the grandmasters, there was also a rank 9 existence, Commander Li Daong of the military department. Seeing that Fang Ping and the rest had arrived, Li Daong nodded slightly and said, "Everyone's here. The other 5 parties are almost here too. 14 from Heaven of Gods, 12 each from Wanda World and Ancient Buddha Sacred Land, 6 each from Totem City and Andes Mountains. 50 in total." Li Daong said a few words and then said, "Our people went to investigate and found that the other side's contestants are not weak. There were middle stage rank 6, but there were very few of them. There were only 5 or 6 of them. On our side," Li Daong glanced at Fang Ping and the others and said, "There are 4 of them." Without the trio from martial arts universities, Sino Nation could still gather another 3 upper stage rank 6 martial artists. In that case, Su Zissou was the only middle stage rank, 6 out of the 20 people in Sino Nation. Now, the trio from martial arts universities had dragged down Sino Nation standards. If it were not for Zhang Tao's efforts and the fact that Fang Ping and the rest were not weak, the 3 of them would not have been allowed to come. Fang Ping was not interested in these weaklings. Just as he was about to speak, Li Yiming chuckled and said, "I don't care how many people they have. No matter how strong they can't be stronger than my sword." Li Daong glanced at him and said with a slight frown, "Li Yiming, don't be too confident. I'm warning you, if you lose in the end and fail to qualify, you'll have to bear the consequences yourself." "Impossible," Li Yiming said confidently. "Even essence and blood fusion is not my match." Li Daong didn't say anything more about him. He continued, "Among the 5 parties, we haven't been able to find out how many experts have achieved essence blood fusion. Currently, we can confirm that there are about 5. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility of a rank 7 martial artist hiding among them. The other party has blocked our detection, so we can't pry forcefully. Although it was difficult to achieve rank 7 before the age of 30, it did not mean that there was no hope. If there really is a rank 7 martial artist, the challenged is allowed to surrender. There was no need to sacrifice himself for no reason. He could still put up a fight against martial artists of the same rank. However, a rank 6 fighting a rank 7 would be courting death. Fang Ping thought it sounded reasonable after he heard that. He really thought that he could not admit defeat. If the level 7 expert really wanted to challenge him, even he was not sure that there would be no danger. In reality, if he really encountered a rank 7 and the other party wanted to kill him during the battle, Fang Ping would not care about the rules. He would just run away first. As for not being able to escape, that was not to the extent of it. Fang Ping had already called Old Manly. It's so dangerous here. Someone might want to kill me. It's best if I call Old Wu along. At the critical moment, I'll appear and hack them to death. Old Manly should be making a move now. As for whether Old Wu had broken through and come out of closed-door cultivation, it was still unclear. As for Old Man Li's rank 9 longevity sword, Fang Ping was not even sure if he had succeeded in forging it. If the forging was successful, Fang Ping was not afraid of anyone. The chances of a peerless powerhouse making a move were extremely low. A rank 9. Fang Ping felt that Old Man Li could defeat him. There was nothing to be afraid of. Li Daong continued, also, this time, the 11 of you must take at least 6 spots. He was referring to Fang Ping and the others. Li Daong said solemnly, no matter what, no matter how dangerous it is, we must take down at least 6. If you're lucky enough to enter the restricted area, all 6 of you can become rank 7 martial artists as long as you survive. Although it's very realistic, I want to tell all of you that a rank 7 is comparable to 10 or even 100 rank 6. Among you, some of you may become high-ranked martial artists, but who knows how long it will take. You may not necessarily achieve rank 7. Even Fang Ping and Du Hong may not have a 100% chance of becoming high-ranked. Before you reach that level, all talent and signs are useless. The so-called quasi-grandmaster, no matter how accurate, is still not. Let me say something more realistic. Before you become rank 7, your lives are not as important as the spots. These words were extremely realistic. It was cruel, so cold-blooded. The restricted area spot represented becoming a grandmaster. Fang Ping and the others had not become grandmasters. Even if they had unlimited potential, they were not as valuable as the spots. Of course, that was what they thought. In Fang Ping's eyes, the spots were naturally not as important as his own life. After speaking to Fang Ping and the others, Li Daong looked at Li Fei and the others, pondering for a moment before saying, as for the 9 of you, just take 4 or 5 spots. Those middle stage rank 6 martial artists are all your opponents. Commander Li? Zhang Nanqi could not take it anymore. He said sullenly, we're not that afraid of death yet. I'm also a peak rank 6 martial artist. If we're so afraid of death that we only dare to challenge middle stage rank 6, then we might as well give up this spot. If we're all so afraid of death now, what will we do when we go to the restricted area? Commander Li, there are real men in Star City too. We don't want to be treated differently. This was a form of humiliation. Zhang Nanqi's face turned red. Li Daong's words, I'll leave middle stage rank 6 for you guys, was a blatant humiliation. It was not just Zhang Nanqi. Among the crowd, other than Jiang Chao, who looked happy, everyone else was furious. Their participation in the competition meant that they wanted to become stronger. If they wanted to become stronger, then they did not need to be treated differently. Otherwise, they might as well just mingle around in Star City. Even if they did not go to the catacombs and did not participate in the competition, no one would say anything. Li Daong said lightly, that's up to you. We won't set any restrictions on who you challenge. When he said that, everyone was speechless. Fang Ping chuckled and said, Commander, once I'm in the arena, People make mistakes and horses stumble. If I kill a paragon's descendant, you won't make me pay with my life, right? If that's the case, then I won't dare to go. Li Daong said calmly, as long as you didn't kill him on purpose, then there's no problem. If the other party has completely lost the ability to resist, and you still kill him, then that means you killed him on purpose. There's no need for that. If you can't hold back during a spar, it's very normal. A paragon is also a martial artist. Don't you understand this principle? Moreover, our Sino nation is not weak, which paragon will make irresponsible remarks because of these things. Naturally, there will be people supporting them. However, Li Daong glanced at him and said word by word, Fang Ping, there's no need to provoke a great enemy for no reason. If you can't hold back and kill the other party, then it's fine. If you kill the other party on purpose, then that's a provocation. Put yourself in someone else's shoes. If your family was deliberately tortured to death, would you agree? However, if you're accidentally killed during a spar, no matter how angry or sad you are, there's nothing you can do about it. Do you understand what I mean? Fang Ping laughed. Of course I understand. I'm not stupid. Don't worry, Commander. I won't deliberately provoke a great enemy for myself. However, if someone provokes me, then I won't hold back. It's fine if it's an outsider, but if one of us dares to stab me, then I promise to kill him. As he said this, Fang Ping looked at the people from Star Polaris with a grin. The faces of the two from the Yang family were extremely ugly. Li Daong also glanced at them and said lightly, It won't be that bad. Since you said that one of us is on the same side, this kind of thing won't happen. If it really happens, he deserves to be killed. Li Daong did not waste any more words, throwing out these two words with a murderous aura. This deputy commander of the military department was also a person who killed decisively. He understood the Yang family's intention. However, if they really provoked Fang Ping and were killed by Fang Ping, the Yang family better not feel the pinch. As for revenge, if Star Polaris did not stand up for them, the Yang family should be careful of others taking revenge on them. Fang Ping was all smiles. Li Daong did not say anything more to him and said again, There's one more thing that everyone needs to pay attention to. The martial arts cultivation of each country is generally the same, but there are some differences. For example, the martial artists from the ancient Buddha sacred land have strong physiques. There are many rank 6 who have forged half golden bodies. The martial artists from Totem City have vitality force. They call it totem power. Although it's the same as our vitality force, it has some special attack effects. In the world of 10,000 pagodas, the martial artists are more famous for a kind of confinement art. Their vitality force, some people can cultivate some special effects that can erode your vitality force, causing your vitality force to fall into silence. Of course, these are all small tricks. The strength of Sino Nation martial artists is that we have no major weaknesses. As for them, the martial artists from the ancient Buddhist sacred land are slow. The martial artists from the world of 10,000 pagodas have weak physiques, and the martial artists from Totem City have mixed vitality and less endurance. As for the Andes, their martial artists will only delve into some mentality attack techniques when they reach rank 7. Below rank 7, they are considered the weakest. The Hall of Gods is more similar to us, but most of the martial artists from the Hall of Gods know a combat technique, the Vitality Ignition art. During battle, Vitality Ignition increases attack power. If you encounter the martial artists from the Hall of Gods, avoid them, wait until they are weak, then defeat them. When Fang Ping heard this, he was instantly interested and said immediately, Vitality Ignition art. Commander, do we have it? I think so. Why don't you teach us? This was a good combat technique. Vitality Ignition, who could be more powerful than oneself. This kind of combat technique was his favorite. Li Daong thought for a while and said, It's not that we don't teach. For martial artists below rank 7, we generally don't encourage this kind of combat technique. Do you understand? Sino Nation's policy was that the strong go first and die first. When the weak did the weak's things, vitality ignition would be excessive and they would also die. There were combat techniques that risked their lives, such as the blood saber technique, which was specially prepared for high ranks, perishing together with the enemy, not stopping until the enemy was killed. The blood saber that Fong Ping condensed earlier was not the real blood saber technique. It was just a replica. Martial artists below rank 7 rarely had combat techniques that caused great harm to themselves. Even if they did, they would not make it public. Fong Ping nodded, but still said, "I can learn it." Li Daong chuckled. Actually, the increase in combat strength is limited. It's not very useful. If you want to learn it, I'll give it to you later. All right, does anyone have any other questions? Commander, if we win, will there be a reward? The quota is the biggest reward. If I defeat my opponent, can I take his things? Both of these questions were asked by Fong Ping. Li Daong had a slight headache. Mother **Ker, which son of AB **Th told him that Fong Ping had the demeanor of a leader. This bastard. Every question he asked was a headache. He wanted to kill the descendant of a paragon, wanted a reward, and wanted to take the spoils of war. With this, how could he have the demeanor of a leader? **CK off. Li Daong cursed in his heart, but he said, "Yes, of course, pay attention to your image. You can take some of his things in the process of defeating him. For example, in the process of fighting, you can take away the opponent's weapon and then quickly defeat the opponent. At this time, the weapon is in your hands. If you don't care, you don't have to return it. But don't take the initiative to take it. Sino Nation is a big country. A big country should still have the bearing of a big country." Li Daong's words made everyone look dull. He really started a discussion with Fong Ping. Moreover, he was teaching others how to do it. He was not a good person either. Li Yiming looked at Fong Ping, then at Li Daong, and then scratched his head. There was such a saying? Should he do the same? Li Daong did not care about them. Similarly, he did not want to continue talking nonsense with Fong Ping. He said quickly, "If there are no more questions, then that's it. Everyone, have a good rest today and tomorrow." "Commander, can we buy our lives with money?" Li Daong was just about to leave. He glanced at Fong Ping and frowned. "What do you mean?" Fong Ping smiled. "I'm not talking about me. Unless a rank 7 comes looking for me, I won't lose. What I mean is, if I defeat some opponents, can I force them to buy their lives with money?" Li Daong was slightly annoyed. "Stop talking nonsense. If you dare to do this in the arena, I'll tear you apart." That was not the way to embarrass oneself. Besides, the other party would not agree to it. Did he really think that he was a robber? Fong Ping coughed dryly. "I'm just asking. If you put it that way, of course I can't do it. Don't be too confident. Don't think that you're invincible among rank 6 just because you can materialize mentality. Let me remind you, the other party may have some special combat techniques or weapons that can suppress your mentality. Star Town has such a combat technique. You've seen it yourself last time. There were some special materials that could isolate spiritual power. Once that happens, your mentality attack will be ineffective. Of course, this special material is extremely rare, but it's not like it doesn't exist. Although it can't defend against mentality attacks that are too powerful. You've just materialized it, so it's not too powerful. I'm afraid that even Star Town has such techniques." As soon as he said that, in the crowd, Zhang Chao looked left and right. Su Zissou looked embarrassed. Li Fei's eyebrows twitched slightly. When Fong Ping saw this, he was dumbfounded. Mother **Ker, there was such a technique? There were 9 people in Star Town. These 3 guys who were moving probably had it. Li Daong was not surprised at all. It was normal for the descendants of the top to have some life-saving techniques. Otherwise, if they were not rank 7, they would be shocked to death when they encountered a rank 7. This kind of item or combat technique that could block mentality attacks was specially used to save their lives. They would not be killed before they could even speak when they encountered a rank 7. Of course, not everyone had it. In the huge star town, among the 13 aristocratic families, there were very few people who had this kind of life-saving item. Li Daong and the others came quickly and left just as quickly. As soon as they left, Fang Ping suddenly grabbed Jiang Chao. Jiang Chao looked helpless and whispered, "You can't snatch it from me. Fang Ping, this is my trump card. My grandfather said that if I lose this thing, he'll beat me to death. I can't lose anything even when I'm dead. If you dare to snatch it, my grandfather will definitely come looking for you. Not only my grandfather, but my elder ancestor will also come looking for you. This kind of item is very rare. It's a life-saving artifact for martial artists below rank 7. Fang Ping's expression darkened. Who's snatching it from you? Am I that kind of person? No. Jiang Chao said helplessly, it's not snatching. The key is that you can tell me. In the end, if I were to give it to you because of my stupidity, who would I be able to reason with? Fang Ping was speechless. He asked, can it really block a rank 7 mentality attack? It should be able to. Of course, it won't last long. This thing can be sustained for a while using vitality force, but if a rank 7 really wants to kill you, they won't just rely on mentality attacks. It can only be used to prevent being killed by mistake. For example, when rank 7 powerhouses fight, most of the time the pressure covers us. If we're in this situation, we can at least escape. The others might be crushed to death. Also, martial artists who have achieved mentality-vitality fusion have weak mentality. Relying on mentality to attack us definitely won't work. Fang Ping looked at him and glanced around. Jiang Chao knew what he was looking at. He shrugged and said, I didn't bring it with me. Haha. Fang Ping would be weird if he believed him. If this fatty was so afraid of death, would he not bring this kind of treasure with him? Really? Forget it, I don't want yours. I just want to see what material it's made of. If I see it in the future, I'll get some back too. Fang Ping was really tempted. He did not need this himself. After all, it could barely block a rank 7's mentality attack. But his family needed it. If each of them wore one, they would not have to worry about being crushed to death unintentionally in a chaotic battle between high ranks in the future. This kind of situation was too common. In Skygate City, in Rose City, in gigantic Willow City, when powerhouses attacked and released their mentality pressure, many people exploded immediately. They could not even run away. And those high ranks really did not kill these people on purpose. Jiang Chao shook his head and said, I really didn't bring it. As he spoke, Su Zissou, who was beside him, handed over a bangle and giggled. Let me show you. Fatty's seems to have been swallowed into his stomach. Don't take it, it's disgusting too. Jiang Chao's expression stiffened. He cursed in a low voice. Traitor! Oh right, how did you know? He thought he had hidden it very well. How did this woman know? Su Zissou said with a look of disdain. Of course I know. I saw it last time. You swallowed it and then spat it out. It's disgusting. What do you know? Jiang Chao said angrily, idiot. What if you drop it if you keep it on you? Swallowing it into your stomach is what you call a life-saving measure. As the two of them talked, Fang Ping fiddled with the bangle. His eyes moved slightly, and he released a little of his mentality. As soon as he released it, Fang Ping felt a resistance. This material, I think I've seen it before. Fang Ping thought hard. After a while, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he hurriedly handed the bangle to old Wang. Wang Jinyang took it, puzzled. After examining it for a while, he suddenly said, yes, it can't be. Exactly. The conversation between the two left the others in a daze. Fang Ping, on the other hand, was a little excited. He looked at Su Zissou and asked, Is this expensive? Su Zissou giggled. Of course it's expensive. No, it's impossible to buy. No one will sell it. This is given by powerhouses to protect their descendants. It's even rarer than a divine weapon. Yours doesn't seem heavy, does it? It's not heavy, but it's rare. This much is enough. How much is this? It's only about half a caddy. Fong Ping swallowed and mumbled. Yours is only half a caddy. I have seen a few tons. Fong Ping and old Wang's conversation was about the broken tablet he saw in the bounded domain. When Fong Ping touched it, he felt that the texture was familiar. Now that he thought about it, was it not the same material as the broken tablet? Last time, Fong Ping did not think of using his mentality to attack it. He did not have the time to use his mentality to attack the broken tablet either. Now that he thought about it, the sealed boundary was often triggered and would retaliate. That ancient city was in ruins. Some of the buildings were destroyed beyond recognition. Many of them were caused by the sealed boundary. But that broken tablet, other than the upper half that was cut off by someone, the lower half was intact. The last time Fong Ping triggered the sealed boundary, he immediately fled the place. If he was not mistaken, that broken tablet should be intact and still there. It's a real priceless treasure. It's a pity I can't dig it out unless the sealed boundary is destroyed. Fong Ping looked regretful. He had planned to dig it out last time, but it was a pity that it was connected to the sealed boundary. Su Zisu's bracelet was only so big. That broken tablet was more than 1,000 times bigger than hers. This time, Fong Ping really felt like vomiting blood. That thing might really be worth hundreds of billions, or even trillions. Maybe. Su Zisu and the others' life-saving items were related to it. Maybe it was made from the upper half of the broken tablet. Of course, Fong Ping suspected that other bounded domains also had such things. He wondered if it had been taken away by someone, or it could not be taken away at all. Fong Ping said no more. He took the bracelet from old Wang's hands, looking dispirited, and threw it to Su Zisu. It's not a big deal. I'm not someone who has never seen the world. Fong Ping looked like he did not care. Jiang Chao was puzzled. Didn't this guy love money? Why did he not even want to take a second look at this divine artifact? Wang Jinyang saw Fong Ping's sigh and knew what he was thinking. He laughed and said, "Give up. That thing could not be taken away at all. We'll see." Fong Ping did not want to talk. He would have to move it sooner or later. Not only the broken tablet, but the heavenly palace too. Because of this, Fong Ping did not even have the mood to fool Li Yiming. He ignored them directly and began to let Fatty bring him to his room to rest. In his heart, however, he was thinking of getting a top-notch armor, the kind that covered the whole body. Then, inside the armor, he could fill a layer of inner armor made from the material of the broken tablet. Did this mean that even if he stood there and let a rank 7 hit him, he would not be able to kill him? Of course, rank 7 were not fools. They could take off his armor and beat him up. However, if he had this thing, he could dig a hole and bury himself next time. He could hide his aura. Even if a rank 8 or 9 powerhouse fought above him, they might not be able to kill him with the aftershock. It suits me too well, Fong Ping murmured softly. This kind of amazing armor was suitable for him. Otherwise, he would be almost killed by the aftershock like last time. Shaking his head, Fong Ping did not think about this. Beside him, Wang Jinyang did not think about this at all. Instead, he said with some regret, Yao Qingjun did not come out of closed-door cultivation. Looks like he will miss this opportunity. To them, recovery did not mean that they did not lack resources. They talked about the restricted zone quota as if it was a sure thing for grandmasters. There must be great benefits. Chapter 543. Just as Fong Ping and the others were preparing for the competition. Magic City, FMS. Although FMS was located in Magic City, its location was extremely remote, located on an island near Magic City. June 1st. At night, rumble. Thunder exploded in the void. The originally quiet night was suddenly noisy. Near the island, waves surged to the sky. FMS. Outside the cultivation room, a middle-aged man in military uniform wore a solemn expression, looking worried. Beside him, a heroic-looking woman said in a low voice, "It's all right. MCMAU Fong Ping has already materialized his mentality." It's not a big deal. He's different from Fang Ping, the man sighed softly. Fang Ping's golden bones are half-formed. One of his Sanjiao gates is sealed. His ability is much stronger than Qingjuan's. He can materialize, but it doesn't mean that Chengjun can do it safely. Things have come to this. There's no point in worrying. The woman was very worried. Yao Chengjun was not Fang Ping. He was still only peak rank 5. At peak rank 5, could he withstand the materialization of mentality? If his mentality was too strong, it would be too overwhelming. It might even crush Yao Qingjun. Yao Qingjun was unwilling to stop, though. Otherwise, he could suppress it for a while and wait until he reached rank 6. After hearing that Fang Ping's mentality had materialized, and that the other two had also entered rank 6, Yao Qingjun had not slept or rested for the past few days. He had been cultivating madly. The pressure room could not be stayed in for long, but Yao Qingjun used it as a resting room. As the two of them spoke, a celestial bridge halo appeared in the air. Soon, the halo unfolded and formed a bridge to the sky. It stopped abruptly. Yes, it stopped abruptly. Originally, there should have been 3 Sanjiao gates, suspended in the air, sitting on the bridge. Now there was nothing. The air seemed to have quieted down. The middle-aged man was getting more and more worried. He said in a low voice, "After his mentality materializes, how do we nurture it?" Fang Ping had sealed one of the gates. Even if it was not a mentality gate, at least he had made a place for his materialized body to stay. Yao Qingjun, on the other hand, did not even open his Sanjiao gates. At this time, there was no place for him to nurture his materialization. The woman was not too worried about this. She replied, "It's okay. Nurturing is just an improvement. It's not necessarily a bad thing if there's no place to nurture it." The materialized form entered the Sanjiao gate to nurture mental energy. Yao Chengjun was unable to achieve essence and blood fusion and materialize it ahead of time. There was also no way to nurture it. This also meant that even if he could improve his mind power, it would be extremely slow. He could only let his mental energy grow naturally, and the speed was extremely slow. If a typical rank 7 powerhouse's mentality growth rate was 10, Fang Ping's was only 5, and Yao Qingjuan's was only 1. Using vitality to nurture mentality was something all high-rank powerhouses could do. Mentality-vitality fusion was also possible, but Fang Ping and Yao Qingjun could not do it. As the two of them spoke, Yao Qingjun began to materialize. When the materialized object slowly appeared, the two grandmasters revealed slightly strange expressions. "What is this?" Although it was the dead of night at their level, they could still see the objects in the air no matter how dark they were. He did not instantiate a city like Fang Ping. Unlike ordinary people, they did not conjure ordinary weapons, demon beasts, or demon plants. A map of ruins appeared in midair. It wasn't that real, but gradually countless shadows appeared in the ruins. They could not see the faces of these shadows. They could not tell whether they were male or female. However, they could vaguely see 2 parties fighting and killing each other. Even if it was just a shadow, just an object materialized by Yao Qingjun, the 2 grandmasters could still feel the desperation and power. The ground cracked, the sky shattered, golden blood spread all over the void. What is this? Is this an ancient battlefield? Is this the future that Qingjun imagined? Or something that has already happened? The 2 grandmasters looked at each other, somewhat indescribably horrified. That materialized object was just a picture. Even so, both of them felt an incomparably huge pressure. Plucking the stars and the moon was nothing more than this. Very soon the picture disappeared. In the next moment, what appeared in front of both of them was only a stretch of broken ruins. They could not see anything. They could not distinguish it. There were only ruins and broken walls. The materialized object seemed to be frozen just at this moment. It was a lifeless stretch of ruins without any signs of life. Everything that had happened before seemed like an illusion. The two grandmasters were still in shock. What was going on? Was it an illusion? However, both of them knew that it was not an illusion. That was really a war that happened, a war that countless powerhouses participated in. The sky collapsed, the earth cracked, and blood spilled in the sky. After an unknown period of time, Yao Qingjuan's greeting sounded in their ears. Principal, teacher. The two grandmasters had awakened. The man was Yao Qingjuan's teacher. The woman was the principal of the first military academy, a powerhouse who almost never appeared in front of the public. Even in the circle of grandmasters, she did not show her face much. Changjun, the middle-aged man's expression was slightly strange. He said, the previous materialization, there was also a strange look in the depths of Yao Qingjuan's eyes. He shook his head slightly and said, I also don't know what happened, but maybe someone knows. Huh. Yao Qingjun looked toward the demonic city outside the island. Maybe that guy knew. In the war, countless powerhouses fell. In the heavenly court, 108 generals died in battle. Such a scene actually appeared in his materialized object. Was it the past or the future? Had it already happened, and the obsession from his previous life continued until now? Or was it because of the crisis of this life that he subconsciously thought of the tragic future? He could not tell. He could not tell. At this moment, his materialized object no longer had these abnormalities. There was only a ruin, a broken ruin. Nothing could be seen at all. It was like a dead object. The illusory figures had all disappeared. However, Yao Chengjun had something weighing on his mind. It was difficult for him to calm down. In the past, he did not pay much attention to what Fang Ping and Li Hansong had said. In other words, he thought it was nonsense. But now he wavered. Heavenly Court? Celestial Emperor? Muttering in his heart, Yao Chengjun suppressed the irritation in his heart and said, Vice Principal, teacher, I want to go to MCMAU. MCMAU? Looking for Fang Ping? The middle-aged man said immediately, Fang Ping and the others are not in MCMAU anymore. They have already gone to Capital City to participate in the youth competition. People from Polaris City had come to the first military academy before. Unfortunately, Yao Qingjun was in closed-door cultivation at that time and had not entered rank 6. The youth competition was considered a failure. They went to Capital City. Yao Qingjun frowned slightly. At this time, the woman suddenly said, Qingjun, let's go. I'll bring you to Capital City. Vice Principal, Yao Qingjun looked doubtful. There was no need for him to go to Capital City to ask. Even the vice principal wanted to go with him. The woman looked to the north and said in a sonorous tone, to fight for a place in the competition. When your mentality materializes, it will not be weaker than a rank 6. It will only be stronger. If that's the case, then we must fight for it. At this point, the first military academy can no longer help you. If you want to enter rank 7, you can only rely on time. However, Fang Ping, Li Hansong, and the others are already moving forward quickly. You cannot be left behind. On the path of martial arts, if you fall one step behind, you will always fall behind. You are all prodigies of this generation. If you only want to be the best among normal martial artists, then you don't have to fight for it. However, you are not a normal martial artist, so martial arts must fight for it. Vice Principal, but the competition is about to start. The places should have been decided, so what? The woman snorted coldly. The weak will be eliminated and the strong will survive. This is the truth. Eliminate someone weaker than you, and you will naturally be able to enter. Many people from Polaris City and the military department are participating. One more or one less doesn't matter. Beside her, the middle-aged man smiled bitterly. Vice Principal, this is not good. Moreover, they might not agree. They have no choice but to agree. The woman took a deep breath, paused, and said, among the 3 departments, only the Department of Investigation doesn't have a place. If it really doesn't work, I will go to the Department of Investigation. No matter how useless Nan Yunyue is, can't she even fight for a place? If that's the case, what's the point of her being a minister? As soon as she said this, the middle-aged man and Yao Qingjun looked at each other, not knowing what to say. Among the 3 ministers, 2 were paragons. Nan Yunyue was the only one who was not. Therefore, the Department of Investigation was the weakest among the 3 departments. The military department mainly fought and guarded the catacombs. The Department of Education controlled all martial arts universities in the world. Martial arts universities were also the main force in conquering the catacombs. There were countless grandmasters. As for the Department of Investigation, they were only in charge of some martial arts disputes on the ground. They killed some evil sect martial artists and arrested some martial artists who committed crimes. Most of them were in the 3 lower ranks. Among the 3 departments, the Department of Investigation was the weakest. However, as one of the 3 departments, Nan Yunyue was known as the number 1 person below the paragons. She had killed a lot of rank 9 powerhouses. She was not a weakling. If she really wanted to go crazy, no one could suppress her except for the paragons. The female vice-chancellor of FMS wanted to find Nan Yunyue, not the military department or the education department. The reason was that she and Nan Yunyue were sisters. However, she was the elder sister. Nan Yunyue was the younger sister. The relationship between the 2 sisters was not very good. They were both strong-willed people. However, she was only a rank 8 now. Nan Yunyue had been a rank 9 for many years. The gap in martial arts realm also caused her to be unwilling to bow down to Nan Yunyue. However, in order to let Yao Qingjun achieve rank 7 as soon as possible, she did not care anymore. Yao Qingjun's mentality materialized. However, the Sanjiao Gate was not sealed. Who knew how many years it would take? On Earth, there was no way to seal the Sanjiao Gate quickly. However, in the restricted area, many people could seal the gate quickly. Some people could achieve mentality-vitality fusion in the blink of an eye. Those who entered quickly achieved Grandmaster within a year or 2. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The female vice-chancellor was not willing to give it up. Vice-chancellor, I'm only a rank 5. Idiot! The female vice-chancellor scolded directly. She said rudely, they didn't stipulate that you must be a rank 6. Besides, if you say you're a rank 5, I insist that you're a rank 6. If I say you're a rank 7, how can they prove that you're a rank 5? Can a rank 5 mentality materialize? When women were unreasonable, there was no way to reason with them, especially powerhouses like the female vice-chancellor. Moreover, the female vice-chancellor had also grasped one point. What rank was mentality materialization? Right now, it was fine to say that Yao Qingjun was a rank 5. It was also fine to say that he was half a rank 7. Since the vice-chancellor had already said so, Yao Qingjun did not say anything else. In reality, he was also a little impatient. He wanted to find Fang Ping and ask him what was going on. When he materialized, was the scene real or fake? Why did it disappear? Would it appear again in the future? Since such a scene had appeared in the materialized object, it should still exist. However, Yao Qingjun realized that the current him could no longer materialize the scene. He did not know if it was because his mentality was not strong enough. June 2nd, Capital City, Martial Arts Association. The others adjusted and cultivated, but Fang Ping did not go into closed-door cultivation. He had enough closed-door cultivation these few days. He was not in the mood to do this. Martial Arts Association in a big office. Fang Ping was like a leader patrolling left and right. The others were silent out of fear, one by one lowering their heads and working seriously. Fang Ping watched for a while and said again, "It's just changing a title. Isn't it just a matter of moving a finger? You guys can't do it. Let me do it myself." General Frenzied Blade A junior leader had just said this when he noticed Fang Ping glaring at him. He immediately looked helpless and corrected himself. General Fang, the Martial Arts Association, is only responsible for the regular updates and operations of the ranking list. We can't change the issue of the title. Do you think I believe that? Fang Ping's face was full of disbelief. The other party said helplessly again, "It's true. Why don't you ask the two presidents? We have no right to change it." "I'm not going." Fang Ping shook his head. He was not a match for the two grandmasters. It would be a waste if he went. Bullying the weak and fearing the strong was the right way. As they were talking, Li Hansong hurried over and said quickly, "Old Yao is here. Fang Ping, go take a look." "Old Yao is here?" Fang Ping was a little surprised. He quickly said to the junior leader, "The next time you update the ranking list, make sure to change my title. Otherwise, I'll find trouble with the Martial Arts Association sooner or later." After saying that, Fang Ping left in a hurry. As soon as he left, everyone in the office breathed a sigh of relief. Someone could not help but laugh. "I think the title Frenzied Blade suits General Fang quite well. Other things aside, just yesterday when he first came here, that blood saber. Isn't that crazy enough? He wants to be the Frenzied Blade King, Saber Emperor. It's not because of the frenzied blade." Someone laughed bitterly. "But calling himself a king at rank 6 is too much. This is the first time I've seen someone argue with us because of a title. In so many years, General Frenzied Blade is probably the first powerhouse to barge into our office and force us to change our titles. He's just short of holding a knife to our necks." Before he finished, the junior leader suddenly scolded in a low voice. "Who said he's just short of holding a knife to our necks? This bastard." Cough! The mentality saber that General Fang just condensed is circling around my head. What do you guys know? Although his mentality had not been released, he was still a peak rank 5 martial artist. Just now, when Fang Ping condensed his mentality into a knife to scare him, he felt it. As soon as he said that, someone could not help but laugh softly. "How about we change his title to Exploding King? He has an explosive temper and does things in an explosive manner. I heard that he blew up all the way to the Nanjiang catacombs and Tiananmen catacombs. Forget it. If you're not afraid that he'll blow you up, change it." The junior leader did not know whether to laugh or cry. But then again, if he really reaches Grandmaster level, he really needs to change it. It's best if it's a single title. As soon as he said that, many people raised their eyebrows slightly. Single titles were exclusive to top-notch powerhouses. Moreover, they were exclusive to those who had hopes of becoming rank 9 powerhouses. For example, many rank 9 powerhouses had single titles. It was the same for some rank 8 powerhouses, such as Wu Quishan, Snake King. Even if Tang Feng achieved rank 7, he was still a mad lion. However, when he achieved rank 8, he might become Lion King. Among humanity's top powerhouses, the old antiques aside, Zhang Tao and Li Zhen also had single titles. It was clear that powerhouses with single titles were highly valued and recognized. But thinking about it, it seemed normal. How old was Fang Ping? Was it not normal for him to have hopes of achieving rank 9? No one brought this up again. Even if they changed it, it was not up to them. While the people in the Martial Arts Association were discussing, Fang Ping had already arrived at the central square yesterday. At this moment, the atmosphere at the central square was not very good. Yao Chengjun stood behind a middle-aged woman. The woman had her hands behind her back, her brows raised high. "Deputy Commander, is FMS raised by a stepmother? We are under the jurisdiction of both the military department and the education department. Logically, we are more qualified to participate in this competition. Why can't Yao Chengjun? The Department of Investigation Services has also signed a note. Why must Nan Yunue come here to testify?" Li Deong said with a slight headache. "Vice Chancellor Nan, the competition is tomorrow. You want us to change people at this time. Tell me, what do you want me to do?" The 8 people from the central government and the military department were selected after countless selections. Beside him, a level 9 expert from Star City had also come this time. Su Haran smiled faintly and said, "Vice-Chancellor Nan, Star City has already given up a lot of places this time. Currently, there are only 9 places left. Previously, we gave Yao Qingjun a place, but it was later filled up by the military department. So, if you want to fight, it has nothing to do with Star City." The female vice-chancellor glanced at Su Haran. After some thought, she decided to give up on Star City. Star City had indeed given up most of the places this year. They did not even occupy half of the places. If they were to eliminate their people now, who would be eliminated? Eliminate Su Zissou? Su Haran would definitely not agree to it. Eliminate 2 people from the Yang family? These 2 people were the unanimous decision of Star City's top powerhouses to give them as compensation. This compensation was actually to appease the Yang family's many powerhouses who had fallen. They could not be snatched away. If that was the case, they could only look for the military department. At this time, Li Yiming said casually in the crowd, "Isn't this easy? I think from the martial arts universities, Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong might not be much. They are only middle stage rank, 6. Let Yao Chengjun fight with them once. Why must they look for the military department?" As for Fang Ping, Li Yiming did not mention him. Li Yiming only cared about strength. Fang Ping was very violent. If they really fought, he might not be a match for him. As for the other 2 people, he still did not think much of them. Yao Chengjun, who had been silent all this while, suddenly said, "I challenge you. If you have the guts, then come out and fight. If your strength is not enough, I naturally won't force you to join. I don't have the face to do so. You want to challenge me?" Ha ha ha! Li Yiming was laughing so hard that he almost lost his mind. What kind of joke was this? Was this guy crazy? He wanted to challenge him? He, a rank 5 martial artist, wanted to challenge him, a peak rank 6, and a top powerhouse among peak rank 6. Do you dare? What a joke! Li Yiming was arrogant to the extreme. He was also confident to the extreme. He said immediately, "Fine. If you insist on snatching the military department's quota, then you're making things difficult for me. You're the one who's arrogant enough to challenge me. I have no reason to refuse." As he said that, Li Yiming chuckled and said, "1 sword. I'll defeat you with 1 sword." Yao Chengjun said without batting an eyelid, "So you agree?" "Of course." As soon as he finished speaking, Yao Qingjuan's spear pierced through the air. This spear pierced through the air directly, piercing toward Li Yiming's chest. Li Yiming let out a cold humph. He did not move at all. He said casually, "Come, I'll let you stab me. If you stab me to death, I'll consider you great." Boom! A loud explosion was heard. Li Yiming did not move at all. Both his legs sank deep into the ground. A muffled sound came from his chest, but there were no signs of injury. He chuckled and said, "You're just one of us. I'll let you attack first. I'll stand still and let you hit me. You might not even, he were the best inner armor today, mainly to protect his internal organs. Could Yao Chengjun penetrate his defense?" Li Yiming was just about to boast when his expression changed abruptly. He scolded quickly, "F*CK, are all of you forcing me? Must you force me to wear that 10-caddy no-break chain of mine?" As soon as he said that, Fang Ping, who was watching the battle, could not help but laugh. A tycoon is a tycoon. This guy is interesting. The so-called no-break chain was a chain made of the kind of material that could isolate mentality. 10-caddy. The chain was probably not thin. Li Yiming did not wear it, probably because he thought that thing was too ugly, making it look like a big gold chain. As he spoke, Fang Ping glanced at Yao Qingjun. Old Yao's mentality had materialized. No wonder he dared to challenge him. At this moment, Yao Qingjun did not materialize anything. However, his long spear seemed to have something like a protective film rising. At this time, the long spear struck Li Yiming. It was no longer attacking his body, but it was cutting his mentality. Li Yiming's expression was pained, but he was also extremely furious. As he cursed, Li Yiming was really angry. Just as Yao Qingjun was still attacking, Li Yiming let out a roar, shouting, "Eternal Knight's sword!" As soon as he said that, the sky and the earth changed color. It was still daytime earlier. The next moment, it was as if night had come. In the void, a sword shadow was as fast as lightning, heading straight for Yao Qingjuan's head. Yao Qingjuan's expression changed drastically too. With a muffled roar, the long spear was like a dragon, emitting the roar of a ferocious beast. A spear glow materialized from mentality, struck out instantly. Rumble. The void shook at this moment. Li Daong, who had not spoken earlier, suddenly made his move. A giant hand that covered the sky covered the place where both of them were fighting, extinguishing everything in an instant. Yao Qingjun and Li Yiming's faces turned pale, taking a few steps back. Li Daong did not care about this. He frowned slightly, thought for a while, looked at the 4 upper stage rank, 6 military department martial artists beside him, sighing softly. Hu Ming, you should withdraw. Among the 4 of them, a short military department martial artist was silent for a moment. Very quickly, he said solemnly, "Yes." This time, Li Yiming did not say anything else. He only cursed in a low voice, "Mother ***, what the hell is this? Anyone can materialize mentality. Didn't they say that there are no specialized cultivation methods for mentality?" As he said that, he added, "I'll have to wear the big chain." Li Yiming felt that he really could not be careless. Previously, he felt that even a martial artist who had fused with essence and blood would not be able to harm him with their mental strength. His vitality force was enough to disperse mentality attacks. If a mentality-vitality fusion martial artist wanted to use mentality to attack him, they would have to be careful of becoming an idiot. But now he was a human, and he was able to materialize his spiritual power. Fang Ping was the first. All right, he would treat it as an accident. It was only the second day, and another one had materialized. Moreover, it was a rank 5 materialization. He could not reason with it anymore. Li Yiming was still nagging. Yao Qingjun bowed slightly at Li Daong, then flashed an apologetic smile at the military department martial artist who had withdrawn. Then he quickly walked up to Fang Ping, looking at Fang Ping with a complicated gaze, not saying a word. Fang Ping was dumbfounded. What do you want? This guy. Why was he looking at him with such a complicated gaze out of the blue? What did he mean? Resentment? Admiration? Admiration? Forget it. Fang Ping really could not decipher the meaning. Just as he gave up trying to decipher it, Yao Qingjun seemed to be a little bitter. His tone was extremely complicated as he asked softly, "General conquering the south, is it true?" At this moment, 10,000 crows flew across Fang Ping's mind. What the hell? Wang Jinyang was even more thunderstruck, like 5 thunderbolts had struck him. Mother ***, am I hearing things? Yao Qingjun came all of a sudden to ask such a question. His mouth was asking if it was true, but his expression was obviously saying, "General conquering the south is here to report for duty." Chapter 544. Fang Ping had an innocent look on his face. I really didn't say anything this time. Old Yao came here to acknowledge us as relatives all of a sudden. What should I do? I'm panicking. Fortunately, someone helped him. Li Hansong grinned and said, "Old Yao, it's true. And this time, you don't know that we even went to your enemy's house." Cough, cough. Fang Ping coughed lightly. Li Hansong came to his senses and laughed immediately. "I'll tell you when the time comes. It's very interesting anyway. I thought you were going into closed-door cultivation and missed this opportunity. I didn't expect you to come at this time. Us brothers can finally join forces and fight again." Yao Qingjun asked and did not speak anymore. At this moment, he stood at the side in extreme silence. Fang Ping wanted to say a few words, but he had nothing to say in the end. He patted Yao Qingjun's shoulder. Yao Qingjun did not care. At the side, Wang Jinyan continued to look at the sky, not saying anything. That was even more unbelievable than talking nonsense. Forget it. He would pretend that he could not hear or see. In the future, he would be deaf and blind. Otherwise, he would be finished sooner or later. These people were discussing in low voices. On the other side, the grandmasters confirmed the new quota. Yao Qingjun's mentality materialized. Although the attack he used against Li Yiming earlier was extinguished by Li Daong, as a grandmaster, he could feel that Yao Qingjun was extremely powerful. He might not be more powerful than Li Yiming, but he had at least the combat strength of a typical peak rank 6 martial artist. In addition, Nan Yunhua had also spoken. Li Daong could not say anything. In fact, this quota was prepared for Yao Qingjun. The grandmasters had always come and gone quickly. The grandmasters disappeared again. This time, the others were not in the mood to go into closed-door cultivation. Li Yiming walked over. He stared at Fang Ping, then at Yao Qingjun. Finally, he looked at Li Hansong and Wang Jinyan, rubbing his chin. Both of you, have you materialized your mentality? No. Li Hansong shook his head. Li Yiming breathed a sigh of relief. Then he said, have you achieved a golden body? No. Can you achieve rank 7 in one night? No. That's good, that's good. Li Yiming heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that he didn't have to eat his words anymore. He said he could defeat Yao Qingjun with one sword. He said he would beat Fang Ping up, but he did not do it. He, Li Yiming, had also fought in the midst of an army of 10,000, killing people like cutting grass. Why didn't he have a smooth journey here? Seeing that he was relieved, Fang Ping smiled. Brother Yiming, we're all on the same side. It doesn't matter who's stronger or weaker. As he spoke, Fang Ping patted his shoulder. Li Yiming instinctively wanted to move away, but he felt that there was no need to be timid, so he did not. Fang Ping, on the other hand, gave it a pat and raised his eyebrows slightly. Good stuff. It was really good stuff. Was this the inner armor of the impasse realm? His actual strength was not small. It looked like he did not use much strength when he slapped, but in fact his strength was enormous. But even so, it did not cause any damage to Li Yiming. Peerless leather armor. Could it be that Li Zhen has killed peerless demons before? Or Fang Ping felt a little disgusted as he thought about it. Could it be that Li Zhen killed the catacombs' apex and skinned them? It shouldn't be that bad, right? He had never heard of Li Zhen killing a venerable end demon before. Li Zhen's most famous battle was when he fought against 3 rank 9s by himself. The rank 9s who came from the restricted zone were all catacombs humans. As for his other battle achievements, Fang Ping was really not sure. Logically, even if Li Zhen had the ability to kill a peerless demon, he would not do it. Otherwise, if a peerless demon fell, would the catacombs not start a war? Then where did this peerless leather armor come from? Also, could Li Zhen's combat strength reach the level where he could kill a peerless demon? Fang Ping thought of many things. He did not say anything else. He glanced at Li Yiming, thought for a while, and said, Your eternal night, sword. Li Yiming said casually, I just made up a name. What's wrong with that? Wang Jinyan glanced at Fang Ping, then at Li Yiming. The others did the same. They looked at each other. Was this not Fang Ping's style? Li Yiming continued. It's a martial arts competition. I just make up random names. Sometimes I call it the Eternal Night Sword, but I don't actually use my sword. I'm just bluffing my opponent. These are all tricks. You guys are still young, so you probably don't understand. Don't feel ashamed. In the catacombs, saving your life and killing your enemies is the most important thing. Li Yiming was also a veteran in the catacombs. He had a lot of experience. He explained his experience to everyone with a smile. To sum it up, don't be too concerned about your pride. If you can survive and kill your enemies, then you are a real man. As if afraid that they would not be able to put down their pride, Li Yiming continued, "Let me tell you a secret. Sometimes when you meet an opponent you can't defeat, it's okay to admit defeat. Don't be stubborn and refuse to admit defeat. If you get killed, then you'll have nothing left." Do you know what that means? Sometimes the catacombs' powerhouses are like idiots. If you yell, admit defeat, pretend to be a coward, they might just ignore you. Really, I tried it once before. You don't say there was an idiot rank 7 who took it right over my head. He didn't even say a word. Just because of this, I even went to every department to give a speech. Fang Ping's expression was so strange that it was frightening. If that's the case, you're the lucky one who escaped by a fluke? And you even gave a speech everywhere. Does this mean that the words that old man Li taught me back then came from you? Never in a million years would I have thought. No wonder old man Li felt that there was hope to save his life. It turned out that there was a precedent. When he thought of the time when he first entered the catacombs, he did not know anything. When he met the catacombs' martial artists, he yelled this sentence. Fang Ping was instantly overwhelmed with shame. Top secret. Those who knew about it were all killed. He was not as thick-skinned as Li Yiming. He actually went around telling it. Li Yiming might have said that, but in the end he still said seriously, that's the only way to escape when we meet a powerhouse we can't defeat. However, when we meet a martial artist of the same rank, we have to fight even if we can't kill him. We can't embarrass ourselves. You guys are still young. There are many things you don't understand. Li Yiming was acting like a big brother. Fang Ping wanted to say, I've done what you said countless times. I'm too lazy to beat you up. Otherwise, what you said is really child's play. After chatting for a while, everyone dispersed. After waiting for Li Yiming to leave, Li Hansong curled his lips and said, This guy talks a lot of nonsense. He acts like he wants to be the big brother. Fang Ping, don't you have any ideas? Fang Ping chuckled. What ideas? He wants to be the big brother. Sure. Give each of us a set of peerless inner armor first, then a divine weapon, and then a treasure that can block mentality. If we can really do it, so what if we become the little brother? If we become the little brother, we can still use the tiger skin of another peerless powerhouse in the future. Together with Minister Zhang, on the surface, the two strongest peerless powerhouses are protecting us now. We can do whatever we want. In Sino Nation, who won't give us some face? After making a joke, Fang Ping looked at Yao Qingjun, frowning slightly. Mentality materialization. What did you materialize? Ruins. Yao Qingjun's words were concise and comprehensive. After thinking for a while, he added, The ruins of a great battle where countless powerhouses fought. In the end, the powerhouses disappeared, leaving only ruins. Fang Ping roughly understood. Li Hansong, on the other hand, was surprised. The scene of a great battle between powerhouses? Old Yao, your obsession is really deep. Looks like even though you've died once, you haven't forgotten that last battle for the rest of your life. Fang Ping had said before that in the last battle that year, all the Heavenly Court powerhouses had fallen. They were matched again. Fang Ping was speechless when he heard that. He looked at the sky. I'm really just spouting nonsense. Of course. It was actually a very simple matter. If powerhouses had really died, it would only be because a great battle had erupted. There seemed to be no other reason. Could it be that they had died of old age? Therefore, this sentence worked on everyone. If he had the guts, ask Fang Ping to describe the details. Like their generation, powerhouses had also died in great battles when they died. Years later, if a modern martial artist was resurrected and someone told him that a great battle had happened that year and all of them had fallen, there was nothing wrong with that. Iron Head insisted on substituting himself. I can't do anything about it. Fang Ping criticized in his heart. He was actually not surprised that Yao Qingjun had materialized the scene of a great battle. What was surprising was that old Yao's obsession was really deep. Also, who had he fought and died? He guessed that this scene that was materialized should be something that happened in his past life. But who was his opponent? Catacombs martial artists? Why did they fight, then? These had now become the past and could not be traced back. When Wang Jingyang heard this, he thought for a while and said, "If we materialize it, will there be any difference?" "I don't know. We'll have to make a trip to Star City sooner or later." Fang Ping glanced at the people in Star City who had already left and said in a low voice, "I can go, but you have to be at least rank 7 or 8. In Star City, I don't care about others, but the Yang family doesn't like me. They still have a rank 8 in their family. If I'm in their territory, they might cause trouble for me." Li Hansong's gaze turned cold instantly. He snorted coldly. "The Yang family? How dare they?" "That one from the Yang family, old Qin, said that he knelt there. He barged into our house for no reason and took without asking. That's robbery." "Shut up!" Wang Jinyang scolded directly, saying angrily, "If you say such nonsense again, do you believe that I won't kill you? Li Hansong, I'm warning you. Next time, don't say such things in front of me. I'm annoyed when I hear it now." Li Hansong looked innocent. "What did I do? Did I say anything wrong?" That was his friend's house. The Yang family's old ancestor barged into his friend's house and died there. In Li Hansong's opinion, there must be evil intentions. At least he and Qin Fengqing would be fine if they went. A peerless powerhouse actually died. Maybe he went in to confiscate the house. However, old Wang was angry. Li Hansong could only shut up reluctantly. Fang Ping did not say anything. Li Hansong's words gave him a headache too. Motherf asterisk her. This guy was so convinced now that he was embarrassed to say anything more. He had been thinking about whether he would be beaten to death one day, and the guy who beat him to death was Li Hansong. Among the three of them, Yao Changjun, he did not lie to him. Old Wang did not really believe him. Li Hansong, this guy combined his own experience and fell into it step by step. He believed in everything with great determination. If one day he found out that Fang Ping was lying to him, would he be satisfied if he did not beat Fang Ping to death? I still have to improve my ability as soon as possible. There are still external enemies and hidden dangers on the inside. Iron Head is like a bag of dynamite. If one day he unexpectedly punches me in the head, I won't be able to reason with him. On the second, everyone talked and chatted, and time passed quickly. June 3rd, the day the youth tournament officially began. Early in the morning, everyone gathered at the central square. Li Daong frowned. He did not look at the young people, but at a figure on the roof, not far away. What was this guy doing here? On the roof. Old man Li was like a statue, motionless. He did not communicate with them, nor did he greet the grandmasters. After this guy arrived last night, he had been standing on the roof, ignoring everyone. No matter who went to ask questions, he ignored them. Of course, he did talk to a few people, such as the president of the Martial Arts Association. When the president went, Old Man Li only said, "Change the ranking or I'll kill you with a sword." When he said that, the president almost vomited blood in anger. Is everyone in MCMAU like this? Powerhouses! Can't you be more magnanimous? That bastard Fang Ping went to ask someone to change the title yesterday. This bastard came and asked to change the ranking. How free are you guys? The president of the Martial Arts Association was so angry that he could not be bothered with him. If he wanted to pretend to be a statue, then continue to pretend. Let's see how long he could pretend. Li Daong glanced at Li Chongsheng and did not bother with him anymore. Beside him, Su Haoren was somewhat helpless. Li Chongsheng was pretending to be a statue, but that was not true. His aura was always locked onto one person. It was not him. It was a rank 8 powerhouse next to him. This rank 8 powerhouse's face was extremely dark, and he was extremely annoyed. Li Chongsheng was aggressive. His aura was extremely strong, and his murderous intent was boiling. It was as if he would attack in the next moment and kill him with a sword. Bastard! If it wasn't for elder ancestors' fall and big brother's death in battle, this wouldn't have happened. This time, the Yang family sent 2 peak rank 6 martial artists to participate in the youth competition. If they got the quota, perhaps 2 rank 7 powerhouses would be born soon. Today, the Yang family's powerhouses had all fallen. Only 2 high-ranked martial artists, him and Yang Qing, were left. If there were 2 more, there would be 4 grandmasters holding the fort. Although they did not have the combat strength of Paragon or rank 9, it was not too bad. He also attached great importance to this matter. He rushed over personally to ensure that they got the quota. Among the descendants of Paragon, there were 2 peak rank 6. This was not a weak force. Unfortunately, his family's ancestor had fallen. He was afraid that the ones who attacked the Yang family were not the descendants of Paragon, but martial artists similar to Sino Nation's military department. It was not only Sino Nation who had the same idea. Everyone else had the same idea. On Sino Nation's side, martial arts universities, the government, including the 2 from the Yang family, were the real targets of all parties. In order to ensure that they got the quota, he did mention to the 2 of them that when it came to the last minute, the martial arts universities would be their targets if the others were not easy to deal with. However, who knew that MCMAU would actually send Li Changsheng? What did this mean? A martial artist whose vitality is constantly fading. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? The Yang family's rank 8 snorted coldly in his heart. What an arrogant fellow. He was also a rank 8 powerhouse. If they really fought, even if he was not Li Changsheng's opponent, as long as he dragged it out for a while, this fellow could exhaust himself to death. What was there to be arrogant about? Just as everyone was deep in thought, Li Daong suddenly said, "They're here! Everyone, as the host, go and welcome them." After saying that, more than 10 grandmasters present walked toward the main entrance of the Martial Arts Association. This time, there were many grandmasters on Sino Nation's side holding the line. Rank 9 Li Daong, rank 9 Su Haoren, rank 8 President of the Martial Arts Association, FMS Vice Chancellor, Minister Wang of the Ministry of Education, rank 8 Yang family. If Old Man Li was counted as a rank 8, then there were 5 rank 8s, 2 rank 9s, 5 rank 8s, and 7 to 8 rank 7 grandmasters. Sino Nation also attached great importance to this competition. The number of quotas they obtained meant the number of grandmasters they could add in a short period of time. Even if half of them died or were injured, there would still be half more grandmaster powerhouses in the quota. The quota battle that was held once every 3 years was a chance to quickly increase the number of grandmaster powerhouses. Every country would not give up such an opportunity. The grandmasters left, while Fong Ping and the others stayed where they were. Outside the Martial Arts Association, a few buses stopped slowly. Some people got off the buses one after another. There were white people and black people. As soon as these people got off, they looked at each other. Very soon, someone said loudly, "Luo Sayas, how dare you claim to be invincible in rank 6? I've never had the chance before. Today I'd like to see for myself." The person who spoke did not have dark skin. Instead, he looked more like an Asian. He held a scepter in his hand and wore a blue crown on his head. At this moment, his vitality was soaring, and he looked extremely domineering. Luo Sayas, who was called out by him, was a Caucasian with blonde hair and green eyes. He carried an incomparably huge broadsword on his back. Perhaps it was more appropriate to call it a door plank. The martial artist holding the scepter came from the Wanta world. Right now, he was also speaking in Mandarin. When they came to Sino Nation, everyone used Mandarin to communicate with the outside world. For martial artists, learning a language was not too difficult. It was easier to learn than the catacombs language. Hearing the scepter martial artist's provocation, Luo Sayas said calmly, "Carmen, of course, you and I will have the chance to fight. But not now. Don't forget about business." "Of course. Don't worry. I'll give you a chance." The man with the scepter, Carmen, said loudly with a face full of confidence, "Sino Nation's martial arts powerhouses, There are no martial artists in this generation that are worthy of my attention. The strength of the ancestors does not mean that this generation is strong. This time, Sino Nation will not get 10 quotas. These words were also said loudly in front of everyone, even though there were many Sino Nation grandmasters walking toward him. However, Carmen did not care. Every time the youth tournament was held, Sino Nation was the main target of all parties. There was no other reason. Sino Nation had the most people. In order to make Sino Nation get fewer quotas, the other 5 parties would attack Sino Nation first every time to test their strength and defeat some people, striving to make Sino Nation get the least number of quotas. In the past, Sino Nation could get about 10 quotas in every tournament. Even if half of them survived, it meant that Sino Nation would have an additional 5 Grandmaster powerhouses in a short period of time. Of course, there were not many of these 5 in Stellar Sky City. After so many years, although Stellar Sky City had gotten quite a number of quotas, the number of survivors was not as many as the government and the military department. This was also the reason why Jiang Chao kept pulling Fong Ping to protect him. When the people from Stellar Sky City went to the restricted area, there would be heavy casualties. At that time, others would not spare you just because your ancestor was powerful. First, they would target Sino Nation. Then they would kill each other for quotas. This was the consensus. This time, however, the martial artists from Sino Nation who participated in the tournament seemed to be weaker than the previous tournaments. There was only one person who had achieved mentality-vitality fusion, and 8 people who were peak rank 6. This was not a small number. However, there were still a few middle-stage rank 6 martial artists below them. This was really too many, and it also gave the other parties an opportunity. Before Carmen and Rosaiza's conversation ended, someone laughed in awkward Mandarin and said, "The World Martial Arts Association should publish a global rank 6 ranking. In the God ranking, Sino Nation has the most martial artists, but they are all old people. Maybe we should publish a youth ranking." That would be fair. That's right, we should publish a youth ranking. Only then can we prove the new generation of martial artists and which party is the best in nurturing. The old people are strong, but that doesn't mean the new generation is strong. These foreigners spoke one after another. Their words conveyed the same meaning. Sino Nation's older generation martial artists were strong, but the new generation was not. They were all living off their previous achievements. The older powerhouses beside them did not interrupt them. They all wore smiles on their faces. Martial artists, especially young martial artists, should be like this. If they did not dare to compete and fight just because the older generation was strong, then how could they surpass them? Foreign enemies were foreign enemies, but there was no force that did not want to be stronger. The more powerhouses in Sino Nation, the more power they had. However, now that the powerhouses did not appear, the older generation had also lost the will to compete as they grew older. However, the younger generation should be like the rising sun, full of confidence. Sino Nation, which had the most martial artists, was the stepping stone for the major forces. The younger generation could step on the younger generation of Sino Nation's younger generation martial artists to rise. Only then could they be confident, ignore the pressure, and advance by leaps and bounds. Not far away, Sino Nation's grandmasters did not care either. It was just shouting slogans. They could not shout them. Every time these guys had to do this. After so many years, everyone had long gotten used to it. They only hoped that when they finally left, they could still be so confident. That would be called unyielding. Since everyone is here, then let's get ready to start the competition. The powerhouses did not want to waste time. Now that the situation was unstable, it was already not easy for everyone to take the time to organize a competition. Every family had 3 or 4 grandmasters, and the least had 1 or 2. Almost all of them had a rank 9 holding the fort.